She's a riveted still.
There she is. There she is.
Welcome to Jill's.
Can I offer you some tea?
Good tea. Nice house.
Would you make me some of that Plomeek soup?
When it's 3 o'clock, we'll be free. Then it's adios, Looniversity.
Hello and welcome to Plomeek Tea Time number 118. I'm making quite a few of these now, and I'm getting into a bit of my childhood today. Although, you know, because I always associate summers with my childhood also sometimes. And part of that used to be watching Tiny Toon Adventures, specifically how I spent my vacation. I really enjoyed this movie. I used to always think it came with the summer. Apparently, we just learned that they dropped the summer so that the title could fit on the VHS, because this was a direct-to-video release, very much on purpose, because Spielberg liked the idea of these being played at home. He wanted people to have it immediately. And yeah, these are the junior Looney Tunes. I loved the Looney Tunes very much when I was a kid and watched them all the time. And so the idea that I could have a new generation come to try to learn from the big guys is just it's just really cool. And they could have never actually replace the Looney Tunes, but it's just still a ton of fun. And of course, they have to go to school to figure out slapstick and sarcasm and all different kinds of different comedy routines based on whichever character that they have, and based on that character, they get mentors. They get mentored by that specific character. And I enjoyed, my favorite of planning this was that Scotty's reaction to this was that he enjoys Animaniacs more. And so do I, but guess what? Most of the staff that made Animaniacs came directly from Tiny Toons. And that's actually why Tiny Toons ended, was so the whole staff could go focus on Animaniacs. And the only reason either of these cartoons exist is because of Roger Rabbit. So I'm so glad we reviewed that movie first, because that's the beginning of Spielberg's foray into animation, which is something that I really adored when I was a kid. I loved cartoons. I used to sit by the TV and draw. And I even found one of my old notebooks where I did just that. I could even remember where I was when I drew some of those little drawings. But here we are. We're having a summer vacation, and I had the VHS for this one. and I think they played it on TV too, but it was like in episode format. It's a bit. It obviously references a whole bunch of pop culture from the day. Especially National Lampoon Summer Vacation is the main story. Except you have to deal with more characters behaving even more insanely and nonsensically. Although National Lampoon has a topless scene and this one doesn't, obviously, because this is for children.
Oh no, that's what Tiny Toons needed. Hardcore nudity.
No, I'm glad it didn't do that.
Yes.
Franco Walker says, YouTube must have a bill to pay. Every video I've watched this morning so far is full of ads. I'm so sorry getting so many ads. I used to think, oh no, maybe I should turn off the ads, but it turns out, whether I have ads on or not, you get the ads anyway.
Yeah.
So I might as well be getting the revenue instead of YouTube. I'm sorry that they're doing that,
so
though.
Weird. Like even if you are demonetized as a channel, like if you do something but you're still allowed to broadcast or upload videos, they will tell you can make no revenue off of it and still put ads on your content. It's great.
Absolutely. This is true. True story, yeah. They'll still make the money. They just won't give it to you.
Yeah.
Matt G. Hey, Matt G's here. Sir Jacob. Hello, Sir Jacob. And Franco Walker says, I never watched Tiny Toons. I was in my 20s and working or getting drunk by this time. Oh, geez. Yeah, no, I was 6 years old when this particular VHS tape came out. So I was definitely within the target demographic. And I don't know, though. I still think it kind of holds up even as a grown up. Maybe not as hilarious, but still really funny. I still laughed a bit. Franco Walker says it's hot here. Whoa, were you going to say something?
Nothing. I was also going to agree with Brogu or Franco. It's hot. It's hot. Bloody hell, it's hot in here. Front door closed, curtains closed, fan on, and it's 28 degrees Celsius.
Oh boy, yeah, no, there's a scene like that here. And how's your air conditioning working? You get some good. I guess the fan's on, so that's different. That for me, that's 82. Yeah, it's 82 inside. That is hot. I'm sorry, I was a little bit late, Franco, but I'm glad you're here. And Brogu's here. Hello, Brogu.
Hey,
yes, and Sashi also is here. I just want to make sure to say hi to everyone. And Bone. See,
hello.
Brogu likes it. Brogu says Looney Tunes, and Animaniacs were absolutely great. Oh, he meant to say Tiny Toons. Yeah, but the Looney Tunes are the teachers for the Tiny Toons, so they're still very important. But Spielberg wanted to create brand new characters that were his own and not, taking from, just ripping what was from before. Because you know how that always goes. He seemed to have a good sense of that, but still paying respect to what came before at the same time. Oh, having a drink. That's good.
That's why. Congratulations, Brogu. No, but that's the thing. Why I like Animaniacs better than Tiny Toons is that every time I watched Tiny Toons, I was waiting for the classic Looney Tunes to show up, and when they didn't show up, I was always waiting for like Go Go Dodo or the.
I like him. He makes things a little wacky.
They would never, like once in a blue moon, they would show up. It was like when Dr. Bunsen Honeydew would show up on Muppet Babies, and it's like, oh, good, this is the one episode I've been waiting for, and this is the only time you will see your favorite character. And
wait, but that's not too fair. Like, were you watching Roger Rabbit? Like, oh, I wish this were Bugs Bunny. It's like, come on.
Well, no, but that's like, and when I get to Animaniacs, it's almost like I'm not even waiting for the modern analogy or equivalent. It's just they are their own characters. They're doing their own thing. And so there wasn't me waiting on the edge of my seat being like, I wonder when Daffy Duck is going to show up. And it's like,
well, they're here, but they are their own characters. They're the next generation. But
right.
Yeah. The fact that I think the old generation is still hanging around bothers you. But the thing is they don't die. So it makes sense that they're still there. They're just in the background. They're not supposed to be up front.
No, I know. And this is, I am going to be such a downer today. So I apologize because every time I see Buster and Babs, I'm like, where's Bugs? And I see Hampton. I'm like, where's Porky?
Well, I think it was actually kind of clever to do two bunnies for Bugs because nobody could be Bugs. So they split his character into two, where Babs does all the impressions and Buster's the clever does all the witty stuff, and she does all the slapstick and kind of crazy shit.
Although
the wacky side
did do one of my favorite jokes of all time on a kid's show, and I didn't know how they did it or how they got away with it, but there is something where Buster ends up going and he's meeting I think it's Babs' parents for the first time because they're going to go on a date or something. And then Babs is getting ready, and then they just do a hard cut to Buster sitting across from Babs' dad. And Buster just says, and they didn't press charges or anything. That's just the entire joke because you walk in halfway through the conversation, and I always that does crack me up. I think that this is a good show.
I think it's fun. And it started in 1990, September 14th, and ran until December 6th, 1992, only ending because they wanted to go make Animaniacs, which I'm glad they did. I think it was a perfect run. And it was created by Tom Ruegger and, of course, produced by Warner Brothers. Let's see. And in association with Steven Spielberg, Amblin Entertainment. So there's tons of Steven Spielberg references and gags in the background all over the place in this show.
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't read this before. I'm just looking at it now just to see if there's something that we should talk about. Yeah, obviously this came about because of all the babyfying older cartoons, but I think this is better than that because it didn't just babyfy the Looney Tunes. It gave us new characters, but I guess they were too similar to the original characters for some people to be able to separate them.
Well, but like there's
Well, that's what you just said.
Well, no, I was definitely waiting for the equal the classic Looney Tune, but there are like, what is it? Elmyra is supposed to be like the different Elmer, and Montana Max is supposed to be like this Yosemite Sam. So,
yeah, Montana Max is nothing like Yosemite Sam, except for his gruffy voice.
Right.
Like he's almost nothing like him, except that he has hair, brown hair.
Right, but no mustache because he's in school.
He's right, because he's in school, and also he's just basically a rich kid, which is supposed to be more of a antagonist with a foil to Bugs Bunny. And Elmyra is not just Elmer Fudd. She's also I should have got a clip of it. She's also the abominable snow monster.
Oh, right.
I'll love him and name him George and love him forever and ever and squeeze him. And so that's I think that's they made the character similar but not exactly the same. Like
well, and we do get some Dizzy Devil, which is nice. Yeah, you don't often see Dizzy.
No, and they have a Pepe Le Pew, which is Fifi, and she's a boy crazy, but she doesn't she's not the same. She doesn't do it the same way that Pepe did.
Yeah, I guess.
What? Well, you just saw this one. She was kind of
well, she is a bit of a stalker.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, in this movie, Shirley helped her out with that, with her magic psychic powers. Not really. She just saw the stuff. Yeah, she is. She is a bit of a stalker. But let's see. Though, okay, so definitely they had to work on production for Tiny Toons itself is something that I wanted to look at.
Well, and also I noticed in the writing credits that this was written by Paul Dini, who obviously is very well known for his work on Batman the Animated Series. I think that this, I don't know if all of the Warner Brothers animation productions sort of came out in the same year. I'm not sure. When did Batman the Animated Series start? But it's virtually the same cast as well in terms of voice acting, or voice director was Andrea Romano, and Paul Dini obviously was writing it and did work on Batman comics as well. And so when did this one start? 1992 as well. So I guess, this was Warner Brothers pumping up its animation department again.
Joe Alasky, who played Plucky Duck, he also, I looked at his credits. There's also, I also see Batman there too. So that's something that goes along with it. And then he actually goes on to actually be Daffy Duck for the rest of his life after this. Also tons of other Looney Tunes and other things for Warner Brothers.
Which is rad.
But he also started with Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He was the first Yosemite Sam in that movie. Whose buns are on fire.
Oh, yeah, no, I remember that because it was too rough on Mel Blanc's voice to do Yosemite Sam for Roger Rabbit.
Mm-hmm. Well, and he was actually going to voice the characters in this show, but unfortunately, he passed away before production started.
Hmm.
Maddie's daddy says Batman spun up after Tiny Toons, and Franco Walker never watched Batman and the animated series, but I've heard good things about it. I've watched like 80 episodes so far, I think.
Oh wow!
And yes, amazing. Well, it's a lot of cartoons, and I think I started watching it with my son, and we would watch a bit every day. The one, yeah, the one with yeah. So there's it's really great storytelling. It's the one with Mr. Freeze and the whole thing with his wife and everything. That episode actually made me cry.
Yeah.
Well, so there's a lot of good emotion there.
Yeah, that was a complete recontextualization of Mr. Freeze based on that. And also, like Batman the Animated Series gave us Harley Quinn, which was created specifically for the animated series and then became, incredibly popular. Yeah, Maddie's daddy gets it. Heart of Ice.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, that was a good one. I think it was 2-parter or 3-parter. I don't remember how many parts. There's the whole thing.
And Franco Walker.
But
is that the one with Mark Hamill as the Joker? Yes. Yes, it is.
Yes. Yeah, very good Joker too. So Tiny Toons was made with a higher production value than most cartoons of the day because it has a cell count that was much higher, 25,000 versus 10,000. And they tried to do more cinematic kind of cuts and things. Let's see. That's the thing. Also, they used a full orchestra, just like of course in Looney Tunes and tons of the songs that they used too, along with other musical cues that were classical or some of it, of course, contemporary, because they also 90s-fy it a bit.
Well, and while I do appreciate the full orchestration for the score of this particular film and series, if I have to hear the theme song to Tiny Toons one more time, I am going to use Q-tips, dangerously use Q-tips, and just end my own audible existence, because every time they break into a song in this movie, it is just the theme.
That is not true. No, they
Mostly.
do it. They do no, not most. Not they do it frequently, but it's not. There are like 100 songs in this thing, and I was gonna put them all down, but they use a ton of classical music. They use a ton of different songs.
Oh, sure, but when we get to the
to say that the whole god thing is just that one song, that is not framing it correctly.
Well, no, I'm not saying that every song is that, because they obviously the interstitial music is, but like when we get to the dueling banjos between the possum and Buster Bunny, it's like they're just playing.
It's a play off of it, yes, that's true, and you'll be able to find examples. Oh, hey, Brogu says so long. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. You have a great weekend too.
See you, Brogu.
Yeah, and he also agrees. Batman the Animated Series was great. Watch percentage of your life. Oh wait, what?
What percentage of your lifetime have you consumed visual media? That is a great question.
That is a great question. I cannot answer. Sorry,
I can't either.
That is. How do you quantify that? Jeez.
Well, it's like
drop my microphone.
Oh no. But like, you know how people say it's like a third of your life is dedicated to sleeping? I would say a quarter of my existence would be watching, rewatching, enjoying visual medias. Probably a high estimate, but there he is.
There's your go-go. Yeah,
There's my go-go dodo.
He's just a cuckoo clock in this one. So
Yes.
sorry to disappoint you. Where? Yeah. So basically, they're just waiting for the summer to start, and the last day of school is usually fun because all the work's done. And when I was a kid, we would usually watch movies and have snacks or games. But for these tunes, they're being worked right to the end. They've got to test an exam.
Yeah, Bugs is a strict schoolmaster.
Like the very first song is "Spinning Song" by Albert Emmerich. Specifically not tiny, but then they do break into Tiny Toons after. It's the beginning of the movie. But it's the beginning of the movie. And I like it when the show I actually like it when a show uses their theme song within the story. Twilight Zone does it too.
Okay.
But of course, yeah. They introduce all the characters just like they do in the regular theme song, but just a little bit differently. Even being so it's just the anticipation of getting out of school. And then the video's begun because of course not the movie. They're not saying the movie because it's direct to video.
Well, and I think that this is the second release of a direct to video animated feature.
Mm-hmm. What's the first one?
G.I. Joe, the movie.
Oh. Yeah, what do you classify as visual media? Does it include computers? Does it include books? Because they're like I look a lot of. Don't you look at all of the media? I don't know. It feels like that's a scientific experiment to determine what media have I consumed in which quantities.
Yeah, like
and
video games too.
And my problem, old man Bird, is that I did not consume media properly when I was a kid. I would sit down and watch these cartoons, but I'd also have a sketchbook open drawing them, or not just drawing the cartoons I was watching, but maybe writing a story or just doing my homework. I did not properly watch movies. That's why for this show I always have to rewatch the movie, even if I've seen it earlier in my life. So quantifying that is pretty impossible for me because of my multitasking.
Oh, Fifi, why are you making me a furry?
That's kind of a you problem.
It is. It is true. Actually, no, I'm not going to pursue that line of thought.
I'm glad we're early on in the stream where you're actually censoring yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
So that was the first scene. The second scene. Yeah. Well, that was the whole thing. No, I actually broke down this review into all of the scenes. This is the second scene where I title it Plucky's friend leaves him alone for the summer. Or at least, that's how it starts. Plucky's friend Hampton Pig, of course, based on Porky the Pig. And so Plucky's trying to imagine all the fun things he's going to do. Oh no, there's a theme song here. No, but it doesn't happen. It's not the only song in this movie. There's like 100 songs.
But see, it shows up
but it's
again.
It's a cute gag. I mean, his eyes turn.
But we just heard the theme song like twice in a row, and then they play it again, and it's like, oh no.
Well, I mean, I guess if you hate the song, it's fine.
It's
but
not
Hampton says he's going to Happy Worldland, which is a place Plucky has always wanted to go. It's kind of like a parody of Disney World, and so they're going, but Plucky won't let Hampton go, so he uses a jackhammer and all sorts of things until he comes up with the jaws of life. The reason I mention it is because, of course, the jaws of life is going to be a shark. So,
yes,
obvious reference to the movie Bruce the Shark from Jaws. I don't know. how this is helpful to tell how quickly your car is going. But
It
yeah,
is kind of strange if you are a pig and you're using bacon as your gauge.
yeah. How does that even work? Okay.
I think I think it's just supposed to be a visual gag for humor's sake. I don't think that there is an actual porkometer.
There's no there's no functionality for this.
No, there's no truth in this art.
Oh, I guess maybe it's saying if you put a slice of bacon. No, that doesn't make sense either. I tried.
If it's running hot, then it's the crispy bacon.
Yeah, you don't
Okay.
want to overcook your bacon.
No.
Cheers, everyone, says Franco Walker. Yes, and
Cheers,
hello
Franco.
to Mage's Media Musings. How are you today?
Hello.
So yeah, see, they do sing other songs. I'm glad I put at least some of the songs here. If I would have had more time, I would have put them all in here. But the song that plays when they drive away is "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot." I guess you don't notice the other music because there's no words to the music, so you don't care. But there's a ton of cool orchestra stuff in this. And there we are. They
Hey,
drive
Gavin
off.
Blackbird.
And Hampton's dad starting the road trip where you can see a little toy Porky Pig hanging up on the dashboard.
Oh,
Because
that's
it
true.
shows respect and reverence for the Looney Tunes source material, even if you don't get to see them all the time everywhere. That's the point, because this is a different show.
And Hampton's parents are played by Jonathan Winters and Edie McClurg.
Their character names are Winnie and Wade.
Mhm.
And also Uncle Stinky is there. They have an uncle.
That is not a phrase I was expecting to hear today.
What? It's his
Also,
name.
why are his nipples on his belly?
I don't know. I think those are nipples. Like those are, what are those called? Liver spots.
Oh, that could be. Yeah, just old man spots.
Yeah, exactly. Mage's Media Amusing. Respect for the source material, that's almost unheard of nowadays. So did Next Generation. This to me is the next generation of
It depends on the media, because some people will view a faithfully adapted piece of work and say that it's terrible, even though it is, a great representation of the source material. I'm looking at you, She-Hulk, you adorable green vixen.
Well, I don't know. I didn't really watch that to know whether or not that's true. But
Yeah.
I know Next Generation was, and they tried not to reference COS as much as they could, even though it came up sometimes.
I love that story about Next Generation when they did the Sarek episode, and they were jumping through hoops to try and, can we say Spock? And it's like, no.
One time. You get to say it one time. I think they allowed him one.
Yes, they did. And that was but that was a hard fought concession just to be able to say. But which is also weird considering that in the Naked Now, didn't they reference Kirk's Enterprise? They say the original Enterprise because it's like the around Psi 1000.
Yeah, they have to because it's part of the history. They're like, oh, this happened before.
Right.
So they did do it sometimes, but they weren't ever trying to do anything disrespectful. They just kind of did a bad episode. That's what I miss is, they just kind of do a bad episode rather than trying to trash what came before, which why can't we go back to that? I don't mind if something doesn't hold up too well, but at least they tried to be good. And that's what Tiny Toons does. They try to be good. And the next thing, this is obviously the next scene. I call it distracted driving because I call the scene distracted driving. The Turkey in the Straw is playing, another not Tiny Toons theme song.
Are you just going to bring this up every time despite me? And this song isn't the Tiny Toons theme. Because if you are,
I mean,
I'm fine with that.
It does seem a theme for the live stream.
Sure.
So I call it distracted driving because the dad is distracted filming the achievement of getting 10 100,000 miles on the car. And he doesn't notice Plucky's barricade. So of course we get. I've been working on the railroad while this is happening, and there's of course Scotty, distracted driving is a real danger. But
I know.
Since this is a cartoon, the only danger was to Plucky.
Yeah. Well, and also not real danger. Although you do get to see a lot of stars and moons every time you get to
Right. Cartoons don't die unless you've got that acid stuff.
The dip, yeah.
Roger Rabbit. Fun fact, first episode of Tiny Toons, Babs states she's 14 years old after being drawn. So the Tiny Toons are about 14, yes. Yeah, and some of them vary a little bit, but yes, that makes sense, and that's why Looniversity is basically high school. It is fun fact. They are teenagers.
That is a fun fact. Sorry, I'll be back in just 1 second, Jill.
Sure. We're going to scene 4 where Plucky shows leg to get a ride. Oh, one thing about this odometer, though, even though the achievement is 100,000 in the script, animation-wise, they kind of messed up because they put 1,000,000. I wish my car would go for 1,000,000 miles. That's crazy. That's a fun goof. I never noticed that Hampton had the lighting for the camera. Like, I'm recording this with my camcorder, but Hampton, you get the lighting going. Oh, there's a GIF for you. Accidental GIF got added in there. But the barricade didn't work, but Plucky reveals that under his feathers he can produce a sexy female human leg, which is kind of funny. This attention seeking reaches the family. They see this. So now he's got a ride to Happy Worldland. And Entropy Manor says 100,000. My last car got about 237,000. That's awesome, Entropy Manor. Way to go. You must have taken really great care of your car. Franco says, I wish you hadn't mentioned Babs was 14. Well, and Plucky is happy to be with Hampton on the trip, but his torture is just beginning. He says hi to Stinky, and it is he's filled with filth. Like, where did that come from? Where did that goo come from? I don't even understand. But it's apparently really gross. Hey, Matt G, you're back. Hey. Oh. So we're at Babs' hole in the ground, her burrow. And we see her idea of what a good summer vacation is. She's getting ready to relax, to pretend and it even has a pretend background of the French Riviera. And she has, of course, as we said earlier, she does impressions. So she does an impression of lifestyles of the rich and famous. But Buster can't stand her enjoying herself, I guess. He's gotta mess with her. And he changes the background to be a snowy background, playing jingle bells. Oh yeah. Oh. And he sprays her with water, with the water gun. Oops. Hey, I messed up. I can get us back to where we were pretty quickly. It throws her out into the stratosphere. Actually, there's a lot of songs in this one. Also, a Sobra Over the Waves song. And also Morning from Peer Gynt Suite number 1. Wigglers Larson says, what's up, Doc? Yes. So thus being thrown to the stratosphere, Babs has got to get she's got to get some defense. So she goes to her room. And I forgot how many brothers and sisters she has. There's so many and they all look completely different. Like how many different, like, wow. The genetic differences look kind of insane to me.
Well, from what I understand, rabbits do like to procreate.
Yeah. They do. But I don't know. Is there only one dad here? Is my question. I'm not sure.
Are you calling Babs' mom a floozy?
I think she might be.
I'm not sure. Be. All right.
But Babs is pretending to be a baby too, but it doesn't work, obviously. Rockabye Babies playing. So they sent
at Acme University, we earn our Toon degree.
Hey, if I could get you to sing the whole thing, that would actually make me happy. Rabbits multiply. Yes, they do. That is the joke. Well, also she gets her ray gun or her race squirt gun. She's got a squirt gun too. Wait. Oh, I thought she was getting that. Did she get it or not? No, there she is. She's getting it now. She has a ton of toys. Because I guess with all those kids, they're not all her toys.
Well, and it is just so frenetic in terms of like Babs is, yeah. Babs is,
this is cute.
I thought that this was kind of cute. Yeah, the acknowledgement of the camera squirting the water, and also the animation for it was pretty cool too, because it does look like if you were. I remember going to like a car wash when I was a kid, and when the windows got wet, it looked like the world outside was melting, and they do that here very well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was not the relaxing day that Babs wanted. So during the chase scene, they're playing Blue Danube Waltz. I just happen to have some of these songs in here.
All right, let me see if I can find the lyrics to the Blue Danube Waltz.
Are there lyrics?
No.
So we're on the 6th scene now. Elmyra. I named the 6th scene Elmyra waterboards Furball because that's how it is.
We're tiny, we're toony, we're all a little loony, and in this cartoony, we're invading your TV. We're comic dispensers, we crack up all the censors on Tiny Toon Adventures, get a dose of comedy. So here's Acme Acres, it's a whole wide world apart. Our home sweet home, it stands alone, a cartoon work of art. There's more.
Oh, there is more. The scripts were rejected. Expect the unexpected.
The unexpected on Tiny Toon's Adventures is about.
It's about to start.
Take it.
They're furry. They're funny. They're Babs and Buster Bunny. Montana Max has money. Elmyra is a pain. Here's Hampton and Plucky. Dizzy Double Ducky.
Yucky. Furball's unlucky yucky. And Go-Go is insane.
At Acme University, we earn our Toon degree. The teaching staff's been getting laughs since 1933. That's my favorite line of that whole thing.
We're tiny, we're toony, we're all a little loony. It's Tiny Toon Adventures. Come and join the fun. And now our song is done. There we go.
So here's now my least favorite character in all of Tiny Toons. I think I might have sort of liked Elmyra when I was a kid, but now I kind of hate her. She tortures. She's an animal abuser, and she's trying to teach Furball how to swim. And of course, instead, she's drowning him. Which, I wish Furball had a little more control over his life.
Well, yeah. She does abuse animals. She's very clearly mentally handicapped, probably on the spectrum. Maybe she has Down syndrome.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if
But
she has Down syndrome. You know
certainly-
what? She can't really talk right. She's supposed to be 12 years old, and she messes up words like she's a toddler.
Well, yes. She and Elmyra, the actress who played Elmyra, grew up to be Sydney Sweeney, and that explains a lot.
What? Look, poor Furball's gonna cut his tail off. I hate how she treats Furball. Although they do use her to good effect eventually. Eventually, she makes her presence worth it.
Old Man Bird says, "Is it Yosemite Sam's daughter? No, that's Elmer Fudd's daughter, or at least part of his limited gene pool."
So none of the Tiny Toons are actually related to Looney Tunes. They're like the smaller versions of them, but they're not related. But yeah, see, she's supposed to be the analog to Elmer Fudd and the abominable snow monster, whose name I wish I knew.
Well,
if anybody knows his name,
I think it's just the abominable snow monster.
Well, no, he has a name.
Well,
because he himself is a reference. He's based on Of Mice and Men.
Oh, okay.
So the references go far back. The Tiny Toons is a reference to Looney Tunes, and Looney Tunes themselves are references to lots of literature and things. And
the abominable snowman in Looney Tunes is named Hugo.
Hugo, thank you. So Elmyra is Hugo and Elmer Fudd.
Which is a very strange parentage.
See, there's no parent. Okay. Nobody was effing. Okay, so Babs is climbing the dam. So this is actually a crime. They're Babs and Buster in this scene. This is scene 7. They both go full evil villain, basically. And Babs decides to flood. She decides to lower the dam and flood the whole town just to get Buster soaked. But Buster has a ski. What is it called? Water skis? Water skis?
Yes.
Well, no, I don't know what it's called.
A paddleboard. Apparently, there's a big run on paddleboards going on this summer.
Oh yeah, that's right. I've got to buy some for my mom.
Some? You have to get multiple paddle boards?
Well, they come in a pack. She seems
okay.
they're going to run out of stock, and if she's right, then I'll just buy her some different ones that are the same. It's like they're not a unique item.
See, in Major's Media Musings, that is my favorite episode of Tiny Toons is the We Might Be Giants, or They Might Be Giants episode, where you get Particle Man and Istanbul, not Constantinople.
Oh, that's a great one. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I think I recorded that on VHS. There's a whole bunch of songs. They also do Yakety Yak.
Don't talk back.
Yeah. That was a good cartoon. I don't remember the whole thing, though. Looks like a little jet ski. That's what it's called. Thank you, Entropy Manor. So, not to be outdone by Babs flooding the city, Buster decides to do so as well by tossing an explosive into a volcano. And this causes a massive tsunami, which also floods the town. So they're both flooding the town.
No regard for civilian casualties. Their own petty vengeance is all that drives these rabbits.
Yes, exactly. I am disturbed. And then Buster admits that he runs this water gag with Babs for the whole cartoon. So actually, everybody's trying to have a good summer, but it turns out that, something always stops them from having a good summer. Buster's stopping Babs from having a good summer. And Hampton's whole family is stopping Plucky from having a good summer. It's kind of seems like a bad movie, but it's not. It's a lot of fun.
Plucky he did want to go to Happy Fun Time Land or whatever it's called.
Yeah, that's good enough. Sometimes I think it's Wacky Worldland and then like Happy
Wally World.
Wally World. Yes, definitely think of National Lampoons when I watch this. And then oh yeah, something's on her foot. It does look frightening, but it's just a puppy. This is Byron. He's actually based on the Tom Ruger's actual real life dog, and his gag is that he flops around, and he has his own theme song too. I forget what it is, but it's not the Tiny Toons theme.
At Acme University, I am a droopy dog.
So, well, and they leave Acme Acres because of this flood, and they end up on the river. And we see actually a really pretty painting they made for this particular scene as they leave the town. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. Oh, the background art is
Vandals.
fantastic. Vandals. They are vandals.
They are. Well, I don't know. I think they're worse than vandals. My goodness. I think Captain Planet needs to, lock them up. But anyway, we're at scene 8. Shirley's got a business going where she's offering her psychic services. She sees in her crystal ball that Babs and Buster are in trouble, and she wants to help. But she's busy. She can't help. She probably wouldn't want to help if she knew they got themselves in this trouble. But I guess I'm glad they. Yeah.
I think this is the most screen time that she gets in the entire series.
That's true. She does get a big storyline here. And oh yeah, Foulmouth is trying to get a date, and she throws him, and he becomes a volleyball for the people who are enjoying their summer, including the baby version of the Roadrunner.
Oh,
I don't know his name though. He's right there. Also, I see the baby version of the Vulture and Sweetie Bird.
Yeah.
Oh, I do know this one. The little mouse here is Sneezy. I didn't pay attention to this when I watched it yesterday. So, at the amusement park, the duck rides the Happy Go Pukey ride. That made me laugh. Yeah. Oh, I love all those rides. Those are hilarious. And so we've got
Fifi.
Yeah, she's admiring her favorite actor. Don't meet your heroes, everybody. She accosts Shirley, telling her dream of meeting him. And Shirley's like, oh, okay, I can sense that he's right over there, because she sees him drive to the Acme Resort Hotel, which I guess they're having a big convention or something with famous Hollywood people. I don't really know what's going on there, but there are a ton of celebrities.
Well, and I think that they refined it and did it better in Animaniacs. But yeah, no, the sort of contemporary pop culture references were sort of what Warner Brothers Animation did at the time. Also, Shirley's a bit of a bitch to Dizzy because he is obviously very, very upset because it is summertime and he sheds. And he says to Shirley, well, if I spin, I'll go bald. And so the duck says, you do you. And so he does, and he spins out, and he does his little, what Dizzy Devil does, which is spin like a Tasmanian devil, and then he does go bald. And what does his consulting psychic do? Laughs and mocks him for being himself. Also, I don't understand why Dizzy Devil has to cover himself up, because as we saw in that last slide, he has no definition in terms of private parts.
Well, that's not allowed on a cartoon. So, but
what you can't show a Tasmanian devil phallus?
That's correct.
Oh,
but
okay.
What the whole purpose of this is that he puts a box on, like they used to put on barrels when in the 1930s during the Depression.
Yeah.
So that's the same way that he puts on a box. Everybody thinks it's the new fad, and so this also makes fun of people for following trends.
Yes, but I guess there is a happy ending for Dizzy Devil after all.
Yeah, he's a trendsetter. and Foulmouth
so ridiculous.
asks for a third time, finally. And normally Foulmouth actually curses and they beep it. So, but instead of doing that for this, they just have him say "dadgum." But he is supposed to. He is supposed to curse. But I never know what he says anyway, so I don't know why I'm lamenting something that I can't even hear.
Well, it's because of the bleeping.
Yeah. So here's the scene 9, where basically it's just all about Plucky having a bad car ride. They're singing 67 bottles of non-alcoholic beverage on the wall.
Yes.
Because they don't drink. Oh, hold on.
No, it is. And, I get it. Like, they're talking about how hot it is in the car. And then you find out, like, it's gross. There's gross sweat stuff. We don't drink in our family, Plucky.
Well, the sweat stuff is just to accentuate the torture that Plucky's going through.
Yeah.
All he wants is the air condition, but that's a waste of money, according to Wade. So he's going to crack the window. But Winnie says, no, then people will think we're too cheap for air conditioning. So they have to sit and suffer.
Which is ridiculous.
It's a crazy lose-lose situation there. It is ridiculous. Because when I was a kid, I actually did have times where the AC didn't work in the car or they couldn't turn it on for some reason. And we did have the windows down. So. But also, we didn't drive through hell. I don't know how.
This is also true.
Look, there's even a crater pops up and another car dies in a fiery inferno right in the middle of the road. That's fun too. And then he thinks he's getting a nice shower. But of course, no, it's just sweat. Like you said, gross sweat stuff.
Gross sweat stuff. Did you ever play the Nintendo game for Tiny Toons?
No, I didn't. Did you?
Oh, it was so good. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Pretty easy game, but it was fun. It's almost like a Mario clone, but you could play as Buster or Plucky. I think could you play as Babs? I forget. You can play as Dizzy. You can play as Dizzy, Buster, or Plucky.
Yeah, I was wondering who this is. They go from hell to the desert.
That's Tex Avery. They're not. No. It's Chuck Jones.
Yeah, that's what my notes say too. That this is Chuck Jones. How are they in Egypt? This is like over the water.
There is no truth in this art. I thought that this was a documentary.
But it's so Plucky can say, "Are we anywhere near Happy Funland?" I don't know. I'm gonna say the name of this place wrong, too.
Oh, that's fine. No, but that's okay. You asked me before we started. You were like, "Can you take a look at the goofs on IMDb?" And I was scrolling through them.
Yes, because I didn't get to read those.
And I thought that this really surmises any sort of criticism of a Tiny Toons adventure cartoon. I think that this is the most ridiculous statement. I can't believe someone actually used neurons and muscle to put this onto a keyboard and send it to the rest of the world. Here it is. It's a plot hole. Are you prepared? Spoilers.
Yes.
Okay.
Spoilers. Oh, the plot hole. I love the plot. Well, that's my favorite part. We're talking about the snail.
Why? The main why? Because I think that this surmises my entire attitude towards the thing. It's not that I don't agree with this, but I think that this is hilarious that someone would use this criticism. You ready?
Well, I mean, yeah. Might as well just skip over to the scene. I'm at 13:57, so what you're talking about is way at the end of the movie.
Well, yeah, no, but
you don't care about everything, so you want me to finish?
No, Oh my
Yeah.
God! Are you don't?
Yeah, you're gonna be at the end of it. Nobody's gonna understand what the hell you're talking about. Go ahead.
It has no bearing on the plot. That's why
Yeah,
I
it
think
does.
it's a hilarious plot hole. Like, why would you
Yeah,
bring
but it's
this
my
up?
favorite part,
Okay, well
and
then
you're
I'll
talking
hold
about it
on to
now.
it. I'll hold on to it. Let's go back to 13 minutes.
All right.
I didn't mean
I
to,
do.
mess up your juju.
Well, I don't know, man. It's just like I don't know what you're doing exactly.
I'm reading the plot holes.
Well, the plot hole's my favorite part.
Okay.
I think it's funny.
See, and this is Buster and Babs Bunny flood Acme Acres, but none of the buildings being submerged result in any damage whatsoever.
Yeah. Yes, I noticed that
Shit.
too, but oh my god, it's crunchy. Yeah. People, yeah.
Fifi LaFume sneaks into the Acme Resort Hotel so she can get Johnny Pugh's photograph and meet him to have it signed. In reality, this kind of behavior is called ghosting, which is a crime and can result in
Stalking.
removal from the premises at the person's own expense. Like the people who are writing the criticisms of the cartoon. Actually, did you know that pigs cannot drive cars?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. And those are the same kind of reviews for the Muppet movie. Bears cannot drive cars either. And yeah, no, definitely Fifi's stalking this actor character. That is a fact. I never heard it as ghosting. I always thought ghosting was when you don't talk to somebody, like you pretend they don't exist.
Maybe ghosting is like sort of stalking. So
stalking
then
is the right word.
Then the IMDb is wrong.
It is totally wrong. Well, IMDb is totally wrong most of the time. But I was just curious of actual things that can't be refuted. But those are kind of fun. Anyway, they play a dumb game called Spot the Car. Any car, no distinctions, just it's a car. Like he thinks, oh, is it gonna be like a yellow car or a red car? No, just any car. There's a car. There's a car. There's a car. And if that isn't the stupidest game in the world, then they also decide they get close to a tunnel and they decide to hold their breath. And if they can hold their breath the entire time in the tunnel, and they make a wish, their wish will come true. The problem is the tunnel is 7 miles long. So if they were driving 60 miles per hour, it would take 7 minutes to get through the whole tunnel.
That's even longer than Tom Cruise can hold his breath.
Yeah, it is. How long can Tom Cruise hold his breath?
Not 7 minutes. I think like 5.
No,
4.
I that's pretty impressive. This is impossible. So that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Scotty, nobody's breath would have that kind of force upon.
No, exactly.
That is. I'm trying to be
LDG.
like one of those reviewers. LDG, hello.
In actual fact, pigs don't hold their breath ever.
Yeah. I really doubt that they would. They'd have no reason to.
What if they're really, really excited about something?
Or unless they're swimming.
Have you ever seen a pig swim?
No, I guess not. But I wouldn't say that they couldn't. Can a pig swim? I don't see why they couldn't.
Well, because they don't have snorkels.
Well, yeah, they can swim very naturally. They're actually excellent because they float with their fat. They're so fat that it floats. So swimming comes naturally. Really? Because of their fat? That's funny. Oh, they're cute when they're swimming. Okay, no, stop looking at baby pigs.
Hey, everybody. If you'd like to join in on today's conversation, head over to YouTube and look for pigs swimming.
Yeah. Okay, so Uncle Stinky blows all the paint off of Plucky from having held his breath. I think this is a cute gag. It's really funny. And Hampton's got to repaint him. Really cute. And at this point, Plucky just misses school. And we're at scene 10.
Well, he says that because he doesn't want to be continually tortured by the Hampton family or the J.
That's
King
right.
family. Yeah.
They're having a great time, though. He's the only one having a bad time. He doesn't. He says it's torture, but everybody else is okay with it. Scene 10. I call this one "Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls." Oh.
Just stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to.
Yes, Babs is having second thoughts of going so far down the river, and Buster says, "Enjoy the gentle lapping of the water, the carefree croaking of the frogs, the quiet whispering of the wind through your ears." And Babs says, "The scary possum kid plunking the banjo." So she senses the danger, and he's playing old folks at home. And Buster says, he's just trying to communicate. Music is universal language. And of course, Babs tries to turn this into kind of a romance thing. She does that frequently not frequently, but at least 2 or 3 times during this movie. She tries to turn around the romance with Buster, but he teases her. And then they're both distracted with this bit. So they don't notice until they're already falling that they go over the waterfall. And this is fun because I've seen this before when they say Buster says, "I've got you." And she says, "But who's got you?" And so of course those are lines from Superman. And so he answers, "I do." I do, kids. That was hilarious.
I wonder if this is the first official aside from the Fleischer cartoons. Oh no, I guess there's been a lot of animated Supermans.
Well, yeah, there had to be tons of animated Superman mans between 1940 and 1992. My goodness. I don't know.
I just think in terms of the modern era of Warner Brother animation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but this was a good cameo, and I was happy I could remember those lines. But Buster says this is our cartoon, so she's like, "Okay," and he drops him.
Okay, bye.
And Babs accidentally drops into a Little Mermaid parody where they're singing "Beneath the Ocean," because of course they don't want to get sued.
Yeah, credit to you where credit is due. The Beneath the Ocean is not the Tiny Toons theme song.
Exactly. And it lyrics by Paul Dini, music by Bruce Broughton, and he does a lot of the music in this. So even though Buster's kind of a jerk, like spraying Babs this whole movie, he also doesn't want her to drown. So this is one of 2 times where he saves her from drowning.
Heroics.
Mm-hmm. The song here is "How Dry I Am."
Not a thing you want your date to tell you.
And so the next scene, we're at scene 11, and this one, I called it Possum Kingdom, but I should have called it Deliverance, because from what I read, this is apparently a parody of Deliverance, but a G-rated version of these.
Well, yes.
Wanting to eat. So these are the first villains who want to eat the bunnies.
Which I didn't recall possums being the natural predators of rabbits.
They are omnivores, but I feel like they're more scavengers. I don't know if they go out of their way to kill things. Let me see. They're opportunistic omnivores and scavenge. They will rarely attack and kill a rabbit, despite their sharp teeth. Yeah, so they're not really hunters. But I guess since they're anthropomorphized here, they've got a bigger appetite.
Well, all right.
Mm-hmm. And anyway, Buster gets away with having a fun, cute musical number with the possum kid playing his mouth alongside his banjo, in which, yes, they are playing a variation to the Tiny Toons Adventure theme song. Which I think that was actually part of Deliverance. I need to see Deliverance so I can understand. Is it a good movie? Have you seen it?
I have not. I think I have it, but I haven't seen it. It's one of those movies that I am afraid of. But I've in his book, Cinema Speculation by Quentin Tarantino, he says that the first half of the movie is good, and then it just gets sort of, I don't know, boring. Not boring.
Is it a horror movie?
Well, yes, but it's also like it's a. Well, I don't know. I haven't seen it. It's most famous for a sexual assault of Ned Beatty.
That doesn't happen in this scene. Franco Walker says Deliverance will stay with you and not in a good way.
That's what I've heard. And so, Franco, I've never been in a mood so good that I needed Deliverance to take it away.
But this is an important scene. It doesn't seem important. It just seems like Buster's goofing off and Babs is doing all the hard work getting rid of the rest of the possums. But this actually comes back later, and it turns out that, Buster did a good thing here. And anyway, yeah, she's been covered with all the different kinds of sauces and everything. And there's just the normal cartoon. You gotta get away and run away and get rid of the possums, which he does.
Yes.
Entropy says it's a good movie, but it can be a tough one to watch. Oh yeah, I like that she eats the carrots as it's being dropped into the soup. What is that? Are they adding liquor to the thing? Because it says it's poison.
Yeah, why not? A little wine, braise the rabbit. Sure.
Oh right, okay, cooking sherry or something.
Sure. Actually, Entropy. I believe that is a good representation of the film that we are currently enjoying right now. It's a good movie, but it's a tough one to watch.
Oh, it wasn't for me.
I know. I told you I was going to be a little.
Dueling banjos and squeal like a pig, one hears anecdotally.
Yes. Well, and that's, it is with Deliverance, it is something that has sort of penetrated popular culture. But it is something that has been, I think it looks disturbing. And so I'm kind of afraid of it. Squeal like a pig. Wee.
Oh. Okay. So, whoa. Okay. So I do like the transitions in this cartoon. We've got a billboard and then cuts right into the next scene where Elmyra's trying to put sunblock on Furball, who doesn't need sunblock. Hey, right. Old Man Bird, thank you so much for this super sticker of Bushiba with, I'll show you, with the little trophy. Really cute.
Oh, nice. Thanks, Eugene Bird. That's so nice of you.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, I do have the movie over here. Let's see if I can play just a...
You want to play the theme?
Maybe just... No. Oh, yeah, sure. I'll play the theme. That's not...
That is the theme.
Yeah. There you are. Thank you so much, Old Man Bird. Penetrated is not the best word to use.
I think it was the best word to use. It was perfect.
So this is scene 12. I call this one the Fat Ladies. Fifi is trying to get Johnny Pugh's autograph, but the bellhop kicks her out. So we got back into the hotel. Well, she's like, oh, it's going to be more difficult than I imagined. And
Is that Stallone?
oh yeah, it is. And they check
There's
in.
Jay
Mr.
Leno.
Leno's. Yeah, his. Would you like me to check in your chin? That's cute. It's actually smaller in animated form. This time, Fifi's pretending to be Johnny's agent, but his real agent is already there. And we get an obesity joke where she, of course, the real agent flattens Fifi. And if that's not enough, we get two fat jokes, one after the other. This one. And then the next one is, this isn't over until the fat lady sings. And we cue Roseanne badly singing the Star Spangled Banner. And apparently this is a reference to the time that she actually did do this at the she actually did sing the Star Spangled Banner poorly before.
Yeah.
Where was that? Where did that happen? Was that in the World Series?
It was at a baseball game.
Just a regular baseball game?
I don't know. I don't remember specifically.
Mm-hmm. And she even, well, what made me laugh was the spitting. And apparently she did that too during the game after she sang. And scene 13. Oh, this is the comedy room. That's what I named this one. Fifi ends up at a hotel room and she breaks in through through the food tray. And she ends up in a room that looks more like a TV studio. And she encounters Letterman, who brings her into the room, not knowing he thinks it's the food. And so it looks like a TV studio with several major talk show hosts all having a time together.
Yes.
Which Johnny Carson, Ed McMahon. And then the funny one is, Oprah, what kind of tree are you? And she says, well, girlfriend, I'm weeping willow. Man, that's hilarious to me.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, and probably because I actually did watch Oprah when I was a kid. I don't know why, but did you?
Not regularly, no.
Yeah, I probably watched it too much, which is why I get it.
I was more of a Sally Jesse Raphael kid.
Oh, okay. I also watched Arsenio Hall, so this was cool. And of course, Letterman. Just a fun little room. I can't believe that's a hotel room. And then, of course, she gets kicked out again. She actually kicks herself out. She flies through the window. So, scene 14, Fifi meets Johnny, and this time she lands in the garbage. And that's not a good first impression, I guess. But she meets him, and he gives her a tissue to blow her nose. And she goes bananas, wanting an autograph, but he doesn't have a pen. So they're gonna find one. He panics.
Hang on a second. I gotta grab some coffee. I'll be back in a minute.
Coffee, nice. Well, and then she's got to carry all of his stuff. He's just stringing her along. So they have this class. So now I call this one the Hunger Games because Plucky's really hungry. He's hot. He's probably thirsty. Also very hungry. We see a 50s style burger place with the outdoor eating from your car. You know, like Sonic with the waitresses and rollerblades. And Plucky wants to order burgers and fries, of course. But they all pull out these nasty sandwiches with mayo and cream cheese. They even pull it in for a close-up. With the crust cut off. So, Yeah, Plucky says they bring their own food to the drive-in. I don't believe this family. This movie is Looney, and I don't mean it with a good way. Yeah. Well, it's all over the place. I'll give you that much. And the movie knows it too. It's a fact. And of course, they order water to drink, which I'm surprised that there's any. I guess he pays her a tip in service because I'm pretty sure the water's free. And so, since he can't eat, he's gonna read, and he's brought his best comic with him, or at least a really good one. That's in the package. But apparently, this is really a bad time to tell Plucky that Hampton cannot read in the car because he gets sick. He gets road sick, and he of course vomits all over the comic. That's the terror and it's like they use horror movie elements to play that scene. Uh-oh, the slides aren't going. There they go. Night transition. And we transition from so the night transition actually transitions us back to Babs and Buster, where they're still going down the river. And Babs wants to go home, but Buster thinks that we're just starting here. And she's actually singing Santa Lucia. It's but she puts parody lyrics of different pasta and Italian foods, and of course that puts Buster in the mood for pizza, but she tries to do the romance thing again. And so he plays with that and says, "In the moonlight, you look like More Amsterdam." And I had no idea who that is. So I used to like when I don't know who the more does anybody know More Amsterdam? I never seen that, but Tiny Toons thinks I'm supposed to know this reference. But I looked up the picture just so I could tell who he is. And there we go. And he squirts her again. And they find a southern mansion. So hopefully Babs hopes that they can get some help getting home. And she realizes that this is kind of a spooky place and does her best Boris Karloff. I think Boris Karloff, right? Impression. Yeah, of Frankenstein's monster. And Franco Walker says, "I've never heard of him and I'm old." Yeah, but that's what I was hoping that you guys could tell me who he was, but I'd never heard of him before. But that was the funny picture. And also, yeah. Buster's saying that she looked like him. So he hopes there's going to be fancy people here, but unfortunately, the homeowners are alligators. More people who want to eat them. Everybody wants to eat the bunnies down the river. And the one who plays the father alligator is played by Sorrel Book, and this is his last movie. And so everything on down the river wants to eat them. But since we already had the possums try to eat them, that the alligator's big deal is that they want to marry Buster. So they all want to marry Buster. And oh yeah. So there's also oh, did I miss it? Let me see. I wasn't looking at the slides to see what was happening. Yeah, no, he's trying to escape. And so she's letting this happen for a little while. The main joke here is I can't marry all. Oh yeah, okay. Somebody's here. Hey, hello, Sigvaldison. But the alligators want to marry Buster Bunny, like all of them. And Buster says, "I can't marry all three of them. That's bigamy." And the dad alligator says, "No, that's big of me." And apparently, that's a direct quote from the movie Animal Crackers. Who has seen Animal Crackers? I have not seen Animal Crackers. I suppose that's a movie. I know the cookies, but I'm sure that's from 1930. Wow, Marx Brothers. My goodness. Okay, I will put this on my list. All right. Well, I distracted myself with that one. And of course, the wedding happens immediately because they actually, I'm not sure why they want to marry their food. And then I'm pretty sure they just want to eat him, but they want to marry him first. It is all very confusing. And so Babs finally decides to do something about it. Franco loves the Marx Brothers. Yeah. And so she just, well, and Looney Tunes and subsequently Tiny Toons definitely pull influence from that.
Sorry, Jill, I'm being pulled away for longer than I anticipated, so I will be back as soon as I can.
And that's fine. Of course, if you got to deal with family stuff and things, I'll miss hanging out, but
I'll be back as soon as I can.
Okay, sounds good. And I'll be fine. So Scotty's missing Babs dressing in. She has to dress in drag to pull a trick on the alligator. She starts immediately on this gag, but it kind of backfires on her because one of the lady alligators falls in love with her, thinking she's a boy. So she pretends that she's married to the dog, Byron, to waylay that. So her plan is basically to use the fireworks to make the gazebo into a giant rocket. And the whole thing, and she gets all of them on there, and the whole thing does go off just like a rocket. Yeah. And it's good animation here. I do enjoy the firework display. And it's a great way to interject July 4th into the movie because it happens to be on July 4th. And so they say Happy Independence Day. And so in some respects they do try to have a little bit of they kind of help you know what time of the summer it is. And so they're in July at this point. There you go. There's a big firework, and it goes off in such a way. It's just like the grand finale of a fireworks show. Any fireworks show you go to during the 4th of July. That's the best one right there. I like this one. It's almost good enough for the Shirley thumbnail. I really like the fireworks, but I think I'll save it for July. Even though I usually use Star Trek the Animated Series, I might make an exception for this one because I like it. So, happy Independence Day. And so they continue down the river, and we see a wild animals, and we think that they're going to be a threat, but they're not really going to be a threat to Babs and Buster. It's another transition, so it's fun transitions. We transition here to Wild Safari Zoo. For Elmyra needs a new kitty, and what better place to get a new kitty than a safari with wild animals? Because she's lost Furball. So I'm happy that Furball is probably getting a break from her. I wish she didn't. Yeah, so she gets to go to the safari zoo. Her parents take her. She's supposed to be 12 years old, and again, look, she's in a toddler seat, or at least a 7-year-old might be in a car seat like this, but but, but she's kind of big for this seat, and to have all these toys with her. I think Scotty might be onto something that Elmyra is developmentally delayed. I do like this one line. This particular segment is not my favorite, but she says, "May the overhead announcer says, may I repeat, so that Warner Brothers won't get sued if anyone really does this. Do not get out of the car." So, so I guess maybe they want to make sure people don't get out of the cars if they're in a safari. So what does Elmyra do? Of course, she jumps right out of the car. So that kind of self-aware humor is good. But man, I really hate Elmyra more than ever. She's such an abusive pet owner. I prefer her only going for wild animals because they're the only ones that can defend against her. And at least this cheetah has more strength and can escape her. But unfortunately, in his escape, she rips off his fur and she wears it. That is kind of almost morbid, even though he's not dead. It's just really evil. More evil than Elmer Fudd ever was, because he never even caught he hardly ever caught him Bugs Bunny. And one time he did, he lamented it and he started crying. So she's a menace, obviously. Off screen, she's captured and tied up several other baby animals. So here's where she finds. Yeah, I think Sky was right. Yeah, and that last scene absolutely proves it. Elmyra's last name is Duff, a reverse of the letters Fudd, says Mage's Media Musings. Very nice. Well, she catches all the lion cubs, even though they're hiding from her. And makes sense that she goes after the babies. I was hoping the grown-ups would show up, but she has to go to them. This particular segment is longer than I like. So she does a little schooling with a baby zebra, alligator, gazelle, monkey, and a snake. And they're learning, and the lion cubs learn that they're supposed to treat the zebra as prey, and so they do. So she actually did educate them. But eventually they escape this terrible school. And she can barely read. So Franco Walker says, I think Scotty was right. She can also barely read. She can read, but not very well. And she smacks people in the face to get them to look. That's something babies do. It's a pity that she wasn't dressed as a zebra. Yeah, right? Yes, Franco, agreed. And all the babies escape, leaving her alone to jump rope with the tail of the cheetah, because she's still wearing the cheetah's fur. And a panther sizes her up, hoping to make her a snack. A number of sites list her age as 12, but her mental age is 3. Yes, agreed. Her mental age is a baby. Toddler, anyway. Yeah. She definitely has toddler vibes. And she accidentally knocks over a boulder, which lands on the poor panther's head. I'm just so sad for the panther because he was supposed to, catch her and eat her. Oh well. So everybody's complaining to the lion. He's, of course, the leader, and he's outraged. And he's got to stand up to Elmyra's abuse. She's a terrible, terrible, terrible kid. But yes, her mental age is 3. Otherwise, it would be more egregious because then she would be self-aware of her abuse. But she has no idea you know what? She does have an idea that she's hurting the animals because she talks about squeezing them. Hmm. Anyway, he roars, but instead of being intimidated, Elmyra gives him a haircut, and which he really hates. It kind of looks like a Bart Simpson's haircut, and so all the all the feline creatures run off and they hijack Elmyra parents' car to leave the safari to get away from her. And we finally get that catchphrase, which tells me we're finally done. I lose more kitties that way. Hey, hello, Sentai Ranger Donnie is here. Happy summer. Hope everyone is well. Also, happy Jaws Day. Yeah, 50th anniversary of Jaws, and Jaws was referenced earlier on in this cartoon where Hampton uses the jaws of life to get Plucky off of his leg. That was definitely a Bart Simpson reference, especially with the eyes. Says Mages Media. Yeah, it was a very subtle one. Very subtle Simpsons reference. And speaking of Jaws, NBC is airing the 1975 Universal Picture adaptation this evening in honor of its 50th anniversary. Fantastic. When my Alamo Drafthouse first opened in town, the first movie that they screened was Jaws, and I went to it. I went to the opening night of Alamo Drafthouse. Very cool. And yeah. Hello, Eraserhead. So another good transition here where the Wildcats driving the car. Also, Wildcats are not very good drivers. So they crash into the Hampton's family, and but neither car gets squished because it's a cartoon. They spin around, and everybody's fine with it except Plucky, who gets sickeningly dizzy. But thanks to cartoon physics, everything's fine except for Plucky's still melting. He needs water. He's hungry. He's being tortured. He's being water deprived. So scene 18, I call it water deprivation, where they stop at a gas station because Plucky needs a drink, and they all suit up in kind of hazmat suits here to go sanitize the bathrooms. So I guess every time they stop at a gas station, they have to sanitize the bathrooms before they use them, which is rather intense. I know public bathrooms are gross, but this is crazy. Plucky's begging for some water. He sees a water fountain, and this is some good drama here because it turns into an oasis to him. Jaws is on TV over here too tonight. I've got it on a timer, says Franco. Very nice. And so all Plucky wants is some water. So the water fountains call to him. Is that and yeah, so the fisheye camera lens, that's pretty good stuff. And the water is calling to Plucky. I guess it's yeah. And he's so thirsty he vomits a mini desert, which is quite fun. It's a very dramatic scene. He tries to get to the water, but he's stuck to the seat. It says, darn sticky naga hide, which I guess is a type of plastic or vinyl. And the seat's stuck to him, pulls him back, finally detaches him. But it takes what it does, the force of it. Well, he's just trying to get a drop, but he can't seem to make it. He's very desperate. The force of the pull actually pulls off all of his tail feathers. Oh well. Nice to fill a draft again anyway. And so now he's finally going to have a drink. He's free. His feathers grew back really fast. And of course, He gets knocked over because the family's finished using the bathroom and cleaning it. And the mother mistakenly believes that he had a ton of water to drink, even though he hasn't had a single drop yet. No, not even a single drop. So the one drop that makes it on his tongue rolls off in a way that's really sad. And he's in distress. He's in mortal distress. In fact, if in reality he'd be probably, if he weren't a cartoon, he'd die. He'd be dead from lack of water, not having being able to drink water, not eating. I think this trip takes more than a few days. Oh, but Elmer Fudd is on the radio. This is K Fudd Radio. I've seen the first Jaws when it's streamed on Tubi. Very nice. I'm glad I got to see it on screen in the theater. Ever see that joke where you open the bathroom door and all the roaches scatter? I've had that happen. Oh, that's terrifying. That's like a horror movie. I don't know. Or I've seen, what's that movie called that's like Tales from the Crypt? What's it called? It's Creep Show. There's the last segment of Creep Show is all about a horror movie regarding cockroaches, and it is scary. Those dolls look so clean. Yeah. I would, yeah. So they're listening to Easy Listening with Elmer Fudd as the DJ. So at least we know what he's doing. Plucky's had enough. He's checking the map. He's saying, this is torture. I'm going to check out the map. And here's us in the middle of nowhere. Now, if we proceed along due east and hang a left at Belroy and jog northwesterly along Route 647, a couple of dozen parsecs, that will put us into Happy Worldland at roughly April 6th, 2021. So 29 years after this was released. And there was somebody on Twitter, I forget who actually posted, hey, Plucky made it to Happy Worldland on this date. So I admire the dedication to remember that and actually post on the day. So here's where we get, well, and as I was mentioning, horror movie elements. We just had Friday the 13th last week, and so we've got the Jason Voorhees, the Jason reference here coming up with the hitchhiker. This is scene number 20. We're making it through the movie really fast at this point. We're pretty close now. The first season of Tiny Toon Adventures aired in the first run syndication before it moved to Fox Kids, says Sentai Ranger Donnie. Yeah, true story. What did oh, the stills look so clean. Yeah. Yeah, they are really good quality. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I work on these. I do. I put a lot of effort into them, and the only thing that you will see above them are some watermarks of Eric's that help protect me against getting automatic copyright claims. For most of the time, it didn't work out for Mars Attacks. So Eric's is this guy here. And he very much helps. So they decide to take on this hitchhiker, who looks really scary even before the radio mentions he's a killer. Then Winnie says Rick Dees in the morning as an exclamation. So here he is. I have no clue about him. Rick Dees is an American entertainer and radio personality. She mentions him as an exclamation. So here he is. I wish I knew more. She wants to help the hitchhiker get to town. Mage has not had an issue just showing stills. Well, I also did have video, but they also claim parts of my stream that are just stills. So, but it's not a problem because all I have to do is fade part of the image in the editor. And so I'm still working on that. I still don't have it monetized, but it's fine. Franco Walker says, "Oh, question for anyone. Who else has noticed that YouTube replies no longer show up in their Gmail social tab?" Oh, really? No, I didn't know that. That's interesting. If I weren't having the show, I'd go check that out. I hope I remember later to see if that's an issue for me too. No. Anyway, he's not just a Friday the 13th reference. He's also a reference to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre because, as we see later, he's got a chainsaw, and also John Ryder from The Hitcher. In fact, his name is Mr. Hitcher. And so Hampton gets to go to the front seat away from the killer, while Plucky's got to sit with this insane man. And nobody's aware of this except for Plucky. Nobody's afraid at all except for him. And then finally, the radio mentions that a psychotic killer is on the loose and describes the hitchhiker perfectly. Except he says, "Oh no, the shoes are one color," and of course the gag is that no, it really is that color. And and his trigger, oh yeah, that's right. The killer's trigger is pork. And so he's just entered a car full of pigs, but for some reason he only goes after Plucky. The radio tries to tell Plucky what number to call, but Winnie turns it off before the whole number is read out. So she says, "Honestly, there's so much sensationalism in the media these days." Then the hitchhiker starts laughing maniacally and puts on the Jason mask, and he looks like he has the chainsaw to match, but he doesn't pull out the chainsaw yet. They save that for later. And Plucky tries to tell the family, but nobody's listening to him. I mean, you would notice, at least somebody would notice a guy revving a chainsaw inside of the car, but nobody notices anything, no matter how much Plucky pleads. There was also a horror film called The Hitcher with Rutger Hauer. Yeah. Yeah, that one works too. But of course, his pleas go unheard of. Unheard. So he's gonna send a letter to Shirley to get some help. And so it's picked up for delivery. And he's in a truck that actually runs over the road runner, which is wild. I think, is this the first time that the road runner is the one to get run over? I think it is. So then we're at scene 21. Talking through the movie is criminal. So this is a very important PSA to everyone. If you're in a movie theater, do not talk. And this entire segment is all about the awfulness of talking through a movie. Shirley gets a note from Plucky, but before she can read it, Foulmouth whisks her to the movies because she agrees. She agrees to the date. Just because he won't shut up. Poor Roadrunner. A bit harsh. Yeah, right? Yeah, no, I didn't like seeing the Roadrunner get run over. That's not supposed to happen. But so because of this date, Shirley doesn't get the note from Plucky, so she never goes to help him. So they're going to see a movie called Skunknophobia. Obviously, that's a parody of arachnophobia. And so the kids are still wearing boxes from Disney's fashion trend setting earlier. And everything's very crowded because this was the time before you could pre-order specific seats where you could just go straight to the theater and sit. Or you had to buy the tickets to a specific theater, but since you wouldn't know where you were sitting until you got there. So the earlier you get, the better seats you get. So first come, first serve for good seats used to be the way it went very, very recently, but now you can just buy them in advance. That is one way the world is different today. Elmyra's still looking for a kitty. And oh yeah, I skipped it earlier, but Fifi still wants Johnny's autograph. She finally has a pen, but Johnny tells her she's needy and ignores her request for an autograph. So he's running. He's even more of a jerk. I think it's okay to whisper in the ear in the theater. Yeah, but you've got to be very quiet. No one should know that you're whispering. And so the ticket taker is also distressed to see Foulmouth. They know he's no good in the theater. And he's getting snacks. But he cuts in line. And so, of course, the person right behind him is upset about it enough to kick him out of line. Because he cut. So he does all the rude things. Cutting in line, talking in a movie. And on the way to his seat, he runs into Roseanne again. So we get Roseanne again. And also Jack Nicholson. And I don't know, the next one, the blonde ladies, I don't know who they are. Pee Wee Herman and Cher, and then another blonde one that I don't know. And so, of course, he says the cheap way to get snacks, though. Shirley doesn't want any of it. It's pretty gross. This is my favorite part. Well, it's my second favorite part. I love the plot hole, but we'll get to that later. Since I don't know. And so this is great. The sound system promo. You know, I haven't played many videos, but I think I'm going to play this because I love this part. Let me see if I can find it first before I play it that way. We don't have to. In that way, we won't have to listen to part of the movie that we don't actually want to listen to. Normally, I make clips if I can, but I didn't have the capability of doing that this time. I ran out of time. Running out of time is a thing that happens in life when you want to get stuff done, but I got as much done as I could. Yeah, so here it is. Hopefully I get away with this one. Is it unmuted? Let's unmute this one and play it.
Sound system promo!
The audience is now deaf.
Yeah, that one's my favorite. I love that because of course it's a parody of THX when they say the audience is listening. I love that. And of course everybody knows about that. Johnny's seeing the movie with Fifi, who's carrying all of the snacks. He can't carry a single thing. It's kind of the reverse role reversal here. She's bending over backwards to get his attention. Oh yeah, it's thud instead of THX. Next, the theater decides to remind people. Oh wait, there's a commercial first. Oh no. Okay, the slides are behind me now. Oh yeah, he makes a dig at her weight. That's pretty messed up too. She's obviously not overweight. Then there's a commercial for a newspaper, and Babs and Buster have help signs in the background. Nobody's going to help them. But there they are. Yeah, there they are on the table with Byron. We've all been there. We've all been there. Yeah. No smoking cigarettes in the theater is the next thing that comes up. Really great. Because then, then they cut to an actual anthropomorphic cigarette with smoke coming out of him. He's so sad. He's got to leave. The cigarette, no smoking, no smoking cigarettes. And apparently, I had to look this one up. It's a takeoff of a character from a comic strip called Doonesbury, and he was meant to represent the tobacco industry. Oh, hey, Centaur Ranger Donnie says, one of my best parts of how I spent my vacation is a parody of the THS sound system trailer. That the audience is now deaf. Yeah, exactly. Penny says, "Hey, Jill and Scotty, on the way home from the grocery store, Scotty will be back as soon as he can. He had to go help his family, and of course, family comes first. It doesn't seem like a very kid-friendly film, but neither were the ones I grew up with in the seven. Exactly. No, it's supposed to have irreverent humor that is kind of not always because even though it's updated a bit for the 90s, it still has the fat jokes. It still has kind of some kind of toxicity in terms of what would be considered toxic today. It's just funny. It's just comedy. And a lot of these elements that we find funny are not we're not allowed to use them anymore because we might offend people and stuff, but there's nothing offensive in this cartoon. It's adorable and it's funny. And so the movie's been rated F, which means not suitable for Foulmouth. And of course, Foulmouth is irritating, talking through the whole movie, as I titled this whole scene. It's the whole thing of the cartoon. And the protagonist is Horatio, the skunknophobe. He's afraid of skunks. Then he explains that he's getting a flat tire, and the audience begins to more aggressively shush him because he's explaining every single thing before it happens. And among the people, among the people who shush him is the Grim Reaper. And lots of violence, which kids love. Yeah, exactly. Tiny Toons kept that violence. Me too, skunkophobe. Oh, there you are, Scotty. You're 37. And yes, he's got a story about a skunk whenever he comes back if he wants to talk about his skunknophobia. And then Foulmouth gets even worse. He reveals an unexpected twist in the next scene, and that makes everyone even more upset. And of course, Shirley I'm sure, is not having any fun. And the man ties up Foulmouth's legs so he can't put them on his back anymore. And so, I guess so. He turns him into a pretzel, and he also gags him somehow. And then we see the skunk, and the well is rabid, and Foulmouth really gets irritating. I guess he's able to ungag himself pretty quickly. And the angry man decides to move, and Foulmouth still won't shut up. People shush him, and he says, oh, you just missed the best part of the movie. And so everyone gets outraged and he's thrown straight into the theater screen where Horatio's actors now getting after him for talking through the movie. So that's where he's actually in the movie now and getting berated by the actors who want their scenes to come up soon, and he's interrupting everything. And so he insults her, which triggers the other actors in the movie to toss him out of the theater. The usher didn't have to do a thing. And so the audience, yeah, the whole audience cheers. Everybody listening cheers him being dismissed. And the actors give a bow. And Fifi's obsessed with Johnny, and now Johnny sees an older pink skunk, and so he starts falling for her, and she recognizes him and asks for an autograph. So he steals Fifi's autograph. Hey,
Sorry about that.
yeah. Well, you got to do what you got to do.
3D.
3D stuff. Yeah. Really cool. And where was I?
Thanks,
I
Franco.
just lost my. Welcome back,
Did I
Scotty.
distract you? Yeah.
A little bit. That magic wand was supposed to be a conductor's baton instead of that. Oh. Okay. Right. Okay, so the characters from the movie finally threw out Foulmouth because he wouldn't stop talking through the movie. So that's the last thing that happened.
Sounds like a lot of watch parties on YouTube.
Yeah, it was very irritating though, because people would say what he was saying what would happen before it was happening. Is that what happens during watch parties on YouTube? I haven't been.
Oh yeah.
Too many.
I don't know. I haven't seen a watch party in a while. I don't know why I'm so down on them.
Yeah. Well, he gives away her autograph. It was supposed to be hers. So that's finally Fifi's last straw. And so now she kicks him out of the theater too. And she says, "You're nothing but a selfish, worthless waste of a skunk."
Le skunk.
Yeah. Yeah, the spell has finally been disillusioned and she's not going to take it anymore. And she tosses him out. And also the audience cheers, but I think the audience would cheer at anything at this point. They're excited to just see chaos happening.
That is something I've always wanted to do.
Throw somebody out of a theater?
No, bust through a wall with a perfect silhouette of me running through it.
I don't know that that's physically possible, though.
Don't tell me what I can and cannot do.
So Johnny ends up in the hands of Elmyra, who is happy she's finally got her kitty. And we decided while you were gone that she really is developmentally delayed, and it was also confirmed more convincingly by Mage's Media Musing, who says she's 12 years old, but mentally she is 3.
Yes.
And it was, if you see her in the car, she's got a car seat that looks more like a baby car seat, and she's got all these toys. She can't speak properly. She could barely read.
Her and Ralph Wiggum should hook up.
Yeah.
I bent my Wookiee.
Anyway, so that's the only reason it's good that she's here. She's given Johnny the comeuppance he deserves here. Maybe she'll learn to be decent after this. Who knows?
I don't think she will.
No, Elmyra is never going to learn a lesson.
No, she can.
He can. He might.
Yes, he can. He can do it.
Maybe. Okay, so we're already on scene 22. And we get to See, the calendar switched from July to, from August to September. And we're on scene 22, Good Ship Delta Burke. So that's what I call this scene.
Well, yes. Delta Burke being a reference to Gerald McCraney's wife, who was the star of Designing Women at the time.
Yep. So there's a steamboat that they notice that they hope can help them. And she'll see a possum stalking them. It's been stalking them for a while in this movie. It's almost the end of the summer, and Babs is still soaked, so she's really fed up with it. She gets struck by lightning. And they try to see if the steamboat will take them home. But it doesn't see them, so they smash into the table. And Buster makes it on the boat, but Babs doesn't, so this is the second time he saves her from drowning.
I do hope that Babs doesn't get in any difficulty for calling down lightning.
I don't know that anyone called on the lightning. I think it's just
it just happened. It's random.
It was just a random
happening.
Kind of like, yeah, you're suffering. Babs, suffer a little more. Here you go. Here's some lightning. I like that they show us Byron's okay. He's enjoying himself. And he's even got his own theme song anytime he shows up. And it's the Funeral March of a Marionette by Charles Godin. I don't know how to say that.
Godin?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If there are no follow-up questions, yeah.
Why not? See? He's having a good time. She starts to... So the captain of the steamboat is a big ugly toad. And he doesn't like stowaways. She starts to sing a parody of Good Ship Lollipop. Good Ship Delta Burke. And seeing her sing makes the toad want to see her perform in their show. And she wants to do it, so she does a Lucy impression. Say, Ricky, I want to be in the show. And Old Man Bird says, you can understand male skunks or love them, never both. And so we cut to scene 23. Not Jason is still around, Mr. Hitcher. And yeah, I'm just surprised to see he's still there. And he says, well, I hate Duck too. So he starts chasing Plucky around the car with the chainsaw. And still, nobody else notices what's going on here. They're not like, oh, there's a crazy maniac trying to kill Plucky. Or at the very least, know that their car is being torn up. So that happens. Makes a change from wanting to eat them. Oh yeah, that's right. Wanting to slice them. I think that he wants to eat them too, but he's got to murder them first.
Well, and it's fun that it comes back at the end.
Yeah. Yes, it's a running gag, definitely. And just by luck, just by chance, Wade wants to drop him off here. And he cuts into a telephone pole and squishes himself.
Kind of looks like Casey Jones.
Casey Jones?
Yeah. From Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Oh. This is scene 24. Plucky can't wait to ride every ride they make it to Happy Worldland. And that's what Hampton's trying to tell him about. And there's a actual Happy Worldland anthem made for the movie. And Wade wants to take pictures of everybody as they got there. But he tries to get a teenager to take a picture of the whole family. But the teenager's just brain dead and can't really figure out the camera. There he is. I've had people do this to me. I'm just minding my own business, and they're like, "Do you want me to take? Do you want to take a picture of us? Please take a picture of us." And I do it, but why do they always pick on me?
Because you don't look fast enough to run away with their camera.
So yeah, the teenager only takes a picture of Plucky's feet because he doesn't know how to take pictures. But they're finally here, and Plucky is so glad. They're gonna ride on the monorail to the park. Welcome to the land where the fun never stops. We have 6 thrill rides and 400 gift shops. And so it's supposed to be a parody of Disney World, but only 6 rides. Magic Kingdom has 41. Universal Florida has 48. But of course, that's today. I don't know how many they had in 1992.
7.
I'm sure they had more than 7. Yeah. They actually, Happy Funland, Happy World, Super Duper Funland has 8 rides. And so there's Happy Go Puking, of course. Everybody retches. And Happy Feet. And Gargle. So if you want a water ride, here's a water slide. It spits you out at the bottom. I don't know how much of a slide it is, as it is a potential way to drown.
Yes, it's basically just a toilet bowl.
Yeah. Then there's a Happy Crasher, which literally murders everybody who rides it. That doesn't look good. But they're cartoons. They're okay. They'll just be dead for a minute and they'll come back.
They'll survive. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why this place exists. This is how a cartoon will get their thrills is through this kind of violence. And this kind of mortal violence that would kill us is the only way a cartoon can get a thrill. And I think that kind of makes sense. Pressure fun. The Happy Centrifuge. And everybody comes out as goo. No. Happy Funland gets its own theme tune.
Okay.
There's Slap Happy Fun. And everybody gets squished by hand. Harmless fun, it says at the bottom. Before the days of health and safety, it says Ringo.
Yes.
Then there's the Stairway to Heaven. And the Bullet Train to Heck. You can go to both places. And that gives us a total of 8 rides. The Happy Go Pukie, yeah.
It's everyone's favorite.
So maybe, well, I can play a little of it. See.
We're tiny, we're toony, we're all what?
The smiles are always rosy, the sky is always blue. This is
There's Happy Feet. Look, Hampton, it's the legendary Happy Go Pukie ride. Jeez, the Happy Centrifuge. Stay here a week. No, 2 weeks. Heck, let's stay the whole month.
Whoa! That was fun.
I'll say, now let's go home.
They did absolutely nothing, and they're going home. And they did nothing at the theme park. Anyway.
Well, they rode the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah, they rode the Tooth Fairy. I guess they have 9 rides if you count the monorail as a ride. And he can't wait to ride these rides, but they came all this way, but they didn't ride any of the actual rides. And so what Plucky doesn't get is that for the Hamptons family is that the trip getting there was their vacation. And this was just like, whatever, we saw some stuff now. He's the only one where the destination was where he actually wanted to have fun.
Well, it was so funny. I was invited on a vacation this summer. And it was like, do you want to go to such and such a place? And I was like, what are we going to do when we get there? Like, what is the plan? And it was like, oh, we don't know. And I was like, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to go if we have no plan as to what we're doing once we get there, because I can do nothing here.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, I'm a wet sandwich. So
Well, but it's good to know if there's a plan. If it's just like a place that it'll just be, oh, now we're at a different place where we have to do the same thing, but now we're kind of uncomfortable because we're not exactly at home. So whatever you're doing when you're not in the hotel room needs to be super fun.
yes. And also, you know, when you drive for a long period of time and then as an adult, you're like, okay, now let's get on the go-karts. It's like, well, we just drove for 2 hours, so why do I have to get on go-karts?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's more driving, isn't it?
Yes.
And people aren't very considerate in those go-karts either.
Well, I've never had a serious, you know, crash in a go-kart. Have you?
Me neither, but I haven't had a crash in a go-kart, but I always feel like I'm the one getting out of the way. And also, I always manage to get the slowest one. Like, I can't seem to make it go fast.
Yeah, that always sucks.
I get the dud. Now that you mention it, it always intrigued me that you created a silly fairy tale for Tooth that normally falls during the growth of the human body. Yeah. Well, kids like it because they get money.
Yes.
Canadian Spider-Man. Hello from the lake. Back tomorrow. Hope these smoke signals get through. Yeah, it made it here.
Cheers, Spidey.
Yeah, great to see you, Spidey. Hope you're having a good time swimming in the lake. And we've made it to scene 25. And we're back on the steamboat. And Babs and Buster are performing on the stage and they're performing to this crowd. And they're going to tell their story of being on the river. And Babs starts singing a parody of Proud Mary by Creedence Clearwater. And he tries to get her to stop the parody songs that go along with the river, but then she starts singing Down by the Riverside. And he gets really frustrated. I'm trying to talk to the people here, and all the time you keep interrupting with your dumb songs and comments and shtick, and I don't know what else. I don't know why I put up with this. All I'm trying to do is tell one simple story. And so...
Can't you two see that you're in love?
Oh, they do. But they're he's frustrated right now, so he turns the tables on her here. And Babs starts trying to tell the story. Canadian Spider-Man, says Old Man Bird. Many of us don't travel because we can do much except look at stuff when we've seen your channel.
True. Anytime I want to go on a vacation, I just tune into Canadian Spider-Man and be like, yep, that's what a vacation looks like.
Hold on just a second.
For sure. It was lots of fun at first, and we're back to the water fight. Even though Babs has been moist this entire time. That is a wet hair. I tells yous.
Yeah, that's essentially how they end their show. Is just Buster spraying her down with the squirt gun.
Greek Letters says, you wish to challenge me to a duel, Franco, to restore the honor of the Tooth Fairy? if you guys fight and then you knock out someone's tooth, does that mean that the tooth fairy shows up to here's your $1?
I don't think it works for grown-up teeth. It's only for kids' teeth.
No, that's true. That is true. I can attest.
Yeah, so the audience is full of all the creatures during the movie that were trying to eat them and more. So just all sorts of carnivores and omnivores.
Oh, it's like the lounge lizards from Fear and Loathing.
Yeah, but actual. And so this is the dinner theater. Of course, they're the main course. So they've got to get out of there.
Horse and Pfeffer. Wow, those are scary monsters.
They are. Well, this is a bit of the climax here, so but it lasts a while.
Yes, it does.
And Buster says, "Where's Superman when you need him?" And that's
you only get
cue.
one.
Well, I know, but Byron, he can fly now.
He can fly now? He can fly.
Yeah.
Now.
Look at him. He's been sleeping the whole movie, but now he's pulling his weight now. And he saves them and flies them off over the river and safely lands them on land. There he goes. Now he's super pup. Because I thought he just worked as a parachute earlier, but now he can straight up fly. And he knocks over E.T. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, my dad wouldn't years and years ago. He wanted to get a basset hound, and at the time he had like a Ford Bronco, like the O.J. Simpson car, and he was like, "Okay, get in." Like he wanted the dog to be able to jump up into the vehicle, and the basset hound had no such capability. And he was like, "Well, I'm not getting a dog that cannot jump into the car." So that was the end of that.
Well, I guess at least he found out before he made the commitment.
This is true.
So what happens next? They're still running away from all the carnivores who want to eat them. And they run into the hitchhiker. But who saves them is a possum, pulls them into the tree. And it's the possum that's been stalking them for the past few scenes. Secretly crypto. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Byron is secretly crypto. And so it's the younger possum. Says he'd never eat someone who could play his face so well. So he was impressed by Buster's music earlier. So Buster seemed like he was just goofing around earlier while Babs had to do stuff. But it turns out Buster playing music with the possum built a rapport with the possum, and so now the possum cares about Buster and Babs and saves them in this moment.
Do love the setup and payoff of this intricate plot.
It is, right? No, well, it is something that is set up and paid off. It is, well, it just shows like that sometimes goofing off is the way to go. No, I don't know.
That is the moral of the story. Yes.
It did win him a friend. It won him a friend who's helping him now. And Buster says, "See, I told you music was the universal language." He says, "And here I thought it was Esperanto."
Oh, wow. It's been a while since I thought about Esperanto.
William Shatner did a whole movie in Esperanto.
I know. I want to see it. It's on my list. I wrote it down.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it either. But I need subtitles.
That's fine. I'm sure that they have them.
So, of course, now Mr. Hitcher joins the fray and trying to eat the bunnies or kill the bunnies or whatever they want to do to the bunnies.
Kill
And the alligators. The alligators still probably want to marry the bunnies. You missed the whole alligators marrying the bunnies earlier.
Oh, I saw it.
Okay, so they have a a minecart chase.
Chicken jockey?
Yeah, that was a slip. So he also likes bunny burgers, so he's not really too discriminatory in terms of which meat he will eat. And so following this chase scene, we got scene 26. And so Wade is driving the family home. So even though it took so long to get there, getting home is a lot faster. And Plucky is so happy to be home that they play Home Sweet Home by H.R. Bishop. And he tries to leave, but Wade says, "Hold on there, Plucky. You haven't seen the slideshow of our trip." And so he's got to watch a boring slideshow of everything that just happened. And Plucky finds out that Mr. Hitcher has his address. I thought it was cute to lawnmower your tongue because they had just fertilized the ground, so somehow flowers are growing on his tongue. It's cute. Scene 27. And get back to the minecart. It always seems quicker to get home than it does to get there. Strange. Oh, so there's some truth to that, huh? I've never built up rapport. Where can you buy the kits? Well, it's just, it's a fancy way of saying making friends to the point that friend trusts you. And oh look, the parking lot of Happy Worldland, and that's the last slide. Yeah, well, they didn't mention Plucky's feet, but yeah, finally Plucky gets to run away, and we find out the only reason he watched the slideshow at all was because he was handcuffed to the projector, which is why he's running down the street with it. And the Minecraft chase makes it to Happy Worldland. So they make it to Happy Worldland too, but they're not, And Babs is singing in a southern accent.
Well, it's so funny because for anybody who's of the younger variety, back in the day, you'd have to go and take pictures with a camera, not with your phone, but with an actual camera. It was a machine that was specifically dedicated to capturing images through the exposure of film to light. And then you would have to take this roll of film to a photo mat where they would develop the photos, and it would be a little bit extra. And you could get slides that would go in this carousel projector. And after you were done your vacation, you would invite people over, and you would promise snacks and beverages, and then you would make them watch what you had done on your vacation. And everyone pretended to be interested. Now, that translated into the modern era by when you take pictures and then you post them on your Facebook wall or your MySpace page, and then you wait for the likes to roll in because everyone wants to see where you were in still images. Now, I would like to say that I am not talking about you, Spidey, because yours are exotic and interesting. I'm talking about the things like when you got a picture of the world's biggest ball of twine or some such nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, because I don't know. And there's you got to make the picture interesting somehow. Franco Walker says, I was the only one who took a camera on holidays in the 80s. As a result, I was the only one not in the photos. Oh man, you should have had somebody else take the picture.
That is a rough one.
But it is good that you were the one documenting. Somebody has to be the historian. And somehow, okay, so they make it to Happy Worldland and they go shopping for no reason. I guess because they just run through it. The minecart is just going through. Back to school sale. So they're again telling you that it's almost time for school again. I got a back to school sale magazine. It's like June. What the hell? And they start throwing the shopping at Mr. Hitcher. And Buster pulls the lever so the killer's tracks send him down the river. And there's a nice splash. And Old Man Bird says, preach it, Scotty R37.
Hells yes.
I've never made actual slides. Like I make these slides, but I don't make not from film. I just develop the pictures and put them in a little photo album. And so the bridge is out and they're about to crash through it. So Babs says, I never got a chance to tell you. And so apparently she's going to declare her love. And he's like, I feel the same way. So that's that. And then they do crash through the dead end, the end of the road. And JT Kirk is here.
Hey,
JT Kirk, you made it just in time for the Tiny Toons, Buster and Babs Bunny and Byron the dog to fall through the plot hole. Also the possum kid. That sends them directly back home. They needed a plot hole. I was wondering how the hack writers were going to wrap things up. And so, where else were they going to go? They have to get home too, and they have to get home quick because the movie's going to be over. So why not a plot hole? A literal one. I think it's lovely. It also passes through Wacky Land. So maybe Go-Go Bird knew they were in trouble and set up this plot hole for them to fall through. That's my headcanon for the particular reason why they find a plot hole.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, because the kids got to get back to school. Oh, you said you had something from the Goofs about the plot hole.
Oh, yes.
I want it now.
Now we're okay with it?
Yeah, now we're okay with it.
Okay, hang on. I have it. I have to pull it back up because I want to make sure that I don't get this wrong because this undermines the logic of the storytelling of the entire work. So
that one's for JT Kirk.
Yeah. So here is why there is no truth in this art. And again, as I said before, it is ridiculous that someone took the mental and physical effort to make sure that the world knew about this glaring chasm of logic. Ahem. The main cast returned to school at the end of the movie without considering the fact that there are enrollment deadlines on what classes to sign up for before school goes back in session and should be done weeks in advance. So apparently, the academic integrity of Acme University is in question because no one went to class selection. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the kind of thing that you'll find with online punditry and say, "Oh my God, why?"
Luniversity is more like a high school, and in high school they basically tell you what classes you get, and maybe you could pick an elective or two, but you actually don't have a ton of choices unless you're doing very specific college courses in high school.
Are you disagreeing with the obvious omission in logic that this fine user from the internet has pointed out? Are you saying that perhaps they are full of beans?
Yeah, I think so. I think they are. I think what happens in Looniversity is that you've got a mentor for each. Oh, holy crap. 1,000 quatloos from JT Kirk. JT Kirk has given us $2, a $2 super chat. Thank you so much. This movie reminds me of Deep Space Nine, One Little Ship. Oh, how so? I love One Little Ship. That's one of my favorites.
It is good episode, yes.
Yeah, that's in the top 10 of my favorite Deep Space Nine episodes.
However,
no,
in One
wait,
Little
you have
Ship,
more,
they
right?
didn't go early to have their class selections. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my god. No, you were gonna say something about the plot hole earlier, and you didn't say that this time. There was more. There's more.
No, that was it. That was the whole thing.
No, there was something else.
What was it?
Because I had to stop you earlier because you started talking about the plot hole. Find it. Do I have to find it?
Find it.
You were doing something earlier. Now we have to know.
Wow.
And I stopped you because I needed it to happen later. And I want it to happen now. So now I've got to look for it. Because you don't know what it is anymore.
No, I know. And I'm on coffee and quesadillas. Like I haven't
quesadillas.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah,
I have a soup here. I've had one spoon of my soup.
What kind of soup?
It's broccoli cheese.
Ooh, that's my favorite soup.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so goose. Yeah, I think it was in the goose. So we're gonna open up all the goose. We're going to open up all the factual errors and revealing mistakes. Oh my God, there's so many.
I know.
And plot holes. Despite the. Okay. Let's see. Let's start with the first plot hole. There's two. There's one plot hole. Okay. So during the plot of the movie. No, that doesn't say anything about the actual plot hole. I was hoping it would. No, I have no idea what you were going to mention earlier. I should have just let you say it. It sounded like you were skipping.
Well, it's just funny to know that there are criticisms on the IMDb page for the reality of the fiction
of a cartoon.
Tiny Toons.
It's not just a fiction. Like there's some fiction where you do want reality to interject, but this is Tiny Toons. Cartoon logic is all that matters.
Yeah, but people get all uppity about this stuff about everything. It's like, oh, this doesn't make any sense. And it's like, yeah, but it's also about a guy from a planet that blew up halfway across the galaxy and now he can fly. So, yeah. Oh, well, yeah.
That's because
there's no reality to this. It's like, there wasn't any reality when you bought the ticket, Charlie.
Yeah, but he's the gravity is he comes from a planet with a more intense gravity, and so the lighter gravity allows him to fly. Just like how when you go to the moon, you can jump around.
Yeah, but you can't propel yourself up and down when you're on you can jump.
No,
but you can't hover and then slowly
but he's Superman,
lower yourself.
so he can fly.
Well, he's yeah, it's fucking fiction. Sorry about the swear, but it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, I can't believe that these paintings are not adhering to actual physics. Oh no, Captain America's shield, it bounces off of things and returns to him immediately. That doesn't obey the law of physics. Oh, well,
yeah, it needs to be shaped like a boomerang.
It should be shaped like a boomerang.
Mage's Media Musing says coffee and quesadillas sound like an odd flavor combination.
Well, they are, but I needed the caffeine and the jalapenos.
JT Kirk says I did coffee and tacos for lunch. If you add a bit of mocha, it works. Yeah, no, I have coffee. I like to eat my tacos first and then drink the coffee.
JT
I
Kirk.
hover and then slowly lower myself in the public restroom.
That makes sense. That's just safety and hygiene right there.
Superman can generate a field fueled by the sun.
Sure he can. Well, it's like that. It's like that old thing. I remember it at the beginning. Like, it's funny that in terms of Superman, but there's an old Max Landis video, and he was talking about the death and return of Superman, and then at the end of his little rant and whatnot, he says, "Well, my dad always taught me." And it's like, well, what did he teach you? And he's like, well, how do you kill a vampire? And it's like, oh, I know, stake through the heart, garlic, holy water, sunlight. And then he's like, no, you can kill a vampire any fucking way you want because they're not real. You don't have to adhere to any of these rules. You can do whatever you want. You can drop a safe or a piano on his head, and that could kill a vampire for all you know. Why? Because it's specifically, Transylvanian wood or something. I don't care. You can do whatever you want. So when people get very uppity about the logistics, and again,
I love From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh yeah, no, totally. And that's the thing. A pencil in the heart, that's great. You can rip out a vampire's heart and it's still not dead, but you can stab a pencil into it and that will kill it. You know why? Because none of it's real. You can do whatever you want.
Unless you happen to be in the universe in which those rules were set. In that case, you do have to follow the rules in which vampires are killed. But if you're outside of that and you're exploring these creatures from a different kind of dimension, a different universe, a different reality, then you can do what you want. But if you're in that universe, you can't.
Well, and I'm being all sort of derisive about the nitpicky nature of it, but you and I could go on for hours and hours and hours on how stupid it is that a baby cried and blew up dilithium in the galaxy. It's just like, no, that doesn't make no sense.
It doesn't. Yeah, the toddler, an alien toddler cried and destroyed the Starfleet. So, way to go, I guess.
Gavin says, Scotty is just a goofball. That is true. I am a ball of goof. And it's good to see Herc. I once killed a man in Reno just to watch him die. I think he was a vampire.
Okay, Frank, I did also pick a video for JT Kirk Super Chat from
nice.
The Wheel. The Wheel randomly picked this.
The Wheel of Fortune. That's pretty short.
I know, right? Oh, should I get another one?
Yeah, like I like Andy Travis and Mr. Carlson, but a little bit more than a meow would be nice, I think.
Oh. Is that better?
Much. Happiness pie, I tells you.
And I'll throw this one in.
They work for peanuts.
Since we are doing, so you see Tiny Toons, you want to see Bugs Bunny. So
Hey, what's up, Doc? Jumping without a parachute? Kinda dangerous.
Oh, I like how in at least the Roger Rabbit universe, Bugs and Mickey are friends. It's the only time I've ever liked Mickey Mouse. Is I was like, oh, you're cool enough to hang out with Bugs. That's great. Way to go, Mick.
Yeah, but not Daffy and Donald. They're not friends.
They're not. No, they're not happy. They're dueling. Entropy Manor says there really does hit a point where you've had to alter the rules so much it's no longer recognizable as a vampire. Yeah, that was the longest. Hey, there's Go Dodo. Yeah, that was my biggest problem with Twilight for the longest time. Is that I was like, these aren't vampires. And then I just stopped caring and found it hilarious. So, and I wanted to thank Jill very much for agreeing to talk about Twilight next week.
I never did that. In fact, I completely zoned out when you said the last sentence. I have no idea what you said, nor do I want to know what you said.
Yeah, you don't want to know.
My brain protected itself.
Yes. It made
So there,
sparkly vampires.
yeah. Forget sparkly vampires. Anyway,
I can't forget them, Jill.
I can forget them.
I'll
And
make
so
you
they
remember.
ended up spending their whole summer on the river. Now it's time for school again. It's the first day back to school. And you know what? The possum's going to get some edumacation too.
That's good.
That's what he says, literally.
Does he say edumacation?
Yes.
That's one of my favorite words is edumacation.
Mm-hmm.
It's right up there.
See, you didn't have to sign up to any classes. I don't understand these people. But look, there's spiders in Buster's locker.
Yes.
But there's also a picture of Rover, his dinosaur pet from season 1. I really like that cartoon because I also had a book about it. And Plucky's happy to be at school because he's not on vacation with Hampton anymore.
Yes.
Yeah. So they got tests immediately, so Plucky's joy doesn't last very long.
Johnny Pugh.
Yeah, Johnny Pugh is still Elmyra's kitty, so I'm just glad that Furball gets a break, because Furball doesn't deserve it, and Johnny does. And the picture's there. Just like in the car, nobody really notices that Plucky's being attacked by Mr. Hitcher. So that's a little parallel there. I guess the Panther wants to learn too.
See, and that's why I'm all for integrated classrooms. I like that. There's no judgment.
And Babs finally gets Buster.
Yes, but you'll notice there is a continuity. Hey, Penny, there is a continuity error in the when the water splashes down on Buster. He's holding his squirt gun to begin with, but once the water pours on him, his squirt gun is magically missing. Where did it go?
Oh,
Jill?
good call.
Where did it go? How am I supposed to believe?
Down a plot hole.
Down a plot hole, exactly. A portable hole.
So Buster Bunny is played by Charlie Adler. Babs by Tress McNeil.
Yeah, and it was funny because I was looking up Tress McNeil's IMDb because that's the only place that I've been hanging out today. And it said, one of the most talented voice actors of our generation. And I was like, her voice is always the same. Babs Bunny and Dot Warner is the same voice.
Actually, I can't argue with that one. They're almost perfectly the same. But I don't know.
Like,
She's got to have some kind of variation.
Well, she does like the crazy cat lady on The Simpsons. I think she plays like Principal Skinner's mom. But again, it's just like her voice, and then it's not. No disrespect towards Tress McNeil. Like, good for you for having a career or whatever. But it's like saying Yardley Smith is an amazing voice actress. But it's like, no, her Lisa Simpson voice is just her voice.
Well, if you're sure about that, I'm not sure myself. I didn't.
What about Yardley Smith's voice?
Or even
Tress McNeil.
Tress McNeil, yeah.
Maybe I'm being overly harsh on Tress McNeil. I just don't think that it's one of those things where if I listen to Tress McNeil's voice and say to myself, I'm like, well, if that's all you have to do, I could do that.
She also has to do Daisy Duck here. She's done Wilma.
She's done Wilma? Oh, well, that's
wow. These are in the 2000s, so later on.
Yeah, no, I didn't think she was original Wilma, but
no, of course not. Oh, she was in a later Land Before Time movies as Petrie's mom. Petrie. That's the little pterodactyl.
Greek letters being a jerk in the chat, but I think it's hilarious. So good work. It says, okay, show's over, folks. Thank God for that. It was a boring review because it's a bad movie. Tune in next week for something more interesting. Hopefully. Jill, would you like to explain the long and winding road of this week's show?
No, because I think you have a better story, because it sounds like you have something to say.
Well, because you said you wanted to do this. You said you wanted to
I did.
review how I spent my vacation.
Well, I was looking at Tress McNeil's IMDb. Yeah, but yeah. I did because I like the story of how we got to these great cartoons. I think they're wonderful, and I and I appreciate Greek Letters Larson spending so much time with me for something that he hates. Thank you so much, Greek Letters. That means a lot
Thank
to
you.
me that you wanted to hang out, even though you don't like the thing or the review. You don't like the cartoon or the review, but still you're here. So that means something.
Narratively, this is basically just a VHS cassette of a strobe light that they would put in front of children to shut them up for 80 minutes, right?
Yeah, but I was over and over again. It's kind of very replayable.
Well, okay. I'm glad I got to revisit this, but I am certainly going, like, this is something
I don't think it's I don't think it's a brain dead cartoon, or I wouldn't love it.
I don't think it's no. I'm talking about what it was doing. Like, I'm glad you got to revisit your nostalgia, and I don't want to take away from your pleasure of the situation. I'm just
no, only Greek
what
Letters does.
Letters said, yeah. And
yeah,
I didn't know. I was watching this morning, and I was like, so what? What exactly am I supposed to say? Like, when we're talking,
Gavin, I actually do like Muppet Babies, but I don't have a reason to review it. This is different. This was actually a movie. I don't think there was a Muppet Babies movie.
Well, Muppet Babies were in Muppets Take Manhattan, and that's something worth, like, I would absolutely talk about Muppets Take Manhattan and how it makes me very sad. I think it's a very traumatizing.
So she was also Gadget. Is Gadget the same voice as Babs and
You mean Gadget from Tailspin?
From
from Chippendale Rescue Rangers? Yeah, same voice.
Okay.
Like, her character is a little bit more refined. She's not as off the wall, but yeah, Gadget was totally the same voice.
Golly. Okay. And Joe Alski, I talked about him earlier. He played Plucky Duck, and after this, he basically becomes Daffy Duck and a ton of different Looney Tunes characters. He definitely has range because he's like a ton of things. Don Messick. Did you know anything about Don Messick?
No.
Who plays Hampton?
There you go.
The Last Unicorn.
I still haven't seen that. I wrote it down, though. Someone was telling me to watch The Last Unicorn. But what was it? Someone asked me to... What was the thing? Someone asked me to watch something. Puma Man. I have no idea what Puma Man is.
No, me neither. I don't know Puma Man. But I'm looking at... no, Don Messick. He just, they're all voice actors. He plays some characters in Charlotte's Web, some side characters. I think the Muppet Babies I think there were a few Muppet Babies in a Muppet Family Christmas. No dedicated Muppet Baby movie, though. Yeah, I would know it. I would know if there was. I would have been a kid, and I would have seen it.
You know what's so strange about the Muppet Babies? Is that after they made the Muppet Babies, there was no effort whatsoever to introduce Skeeter.
Yeah.
Like, for some reason, Scooter had a sister, and then when they brought back the Muppets, they were like, no, he doesn't. So what happened to Skeeter? Did Skeeter die as a child?
Yes.
Oh,
the same tragedy that befell Deanna Troy's sister.
Oh, Kestra.
Yeah. Whatever.
No, but I like Rob Paulson. He played the hunky skunk, and then also I forget the name of the gentleman who plays the voice of Brain from Pinky and the Brain.
Who plays Brain? Okay, actor.
I should know this.
Maurice
Maurice
Lamar-
LaMarche. Yeah.
There you go. And
So
even though I
that's-
hate Elmyra, her voice actress is good. I like.
Well,
I
yeah,
like
Cree
the
Summer.
delivery.
And Cree Summer is also a bit of a smoke show, too.
Oh, well.
There he is. Maurice LaMarche is Dizzy Devil.
Oh, he's here. There he is. He doesn't exactly have lines. He just says, "Rah, rah, rah."
But still, it's like it's the early days of a man. There we go. The reason this movie went straight to home video, because it's so darned good.
Mhm. Exactly. They sentenced me to 20 years of boredom for trying to change the system from within, says Greek literature. Ooh,
That,
okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The moral of the story, you can pick one. Oh, they do tell you what the moral should be. Number 1, enjoy your vacation. Number 2, relish your youth. Number 3, don't pick up chainsaw wielding hitchhikers. I think, oh, where's DJ Knight? He's always the one who says, don't pick up hitchhikers. Like, and that's not even just don't pick up the ones with chainsaws, just don't pick them up, period.
Yeah.
Number 4, feature-length movies should not have 18 different plots. So, see, it's self-aware.
Yeah, that's the one I'm taking.
I don't care. I think it was fun.
I know. I'm happy you're happy.
I am. And part of why the animation for Tiny Toons is so good is because they got Japanese production studios doing the animation. See, that's a Japanese help here. I like that. That was fun to learn. I never knew about that. These end credits are interminable. 4 reasons a caricature of David Letterman is in this video. 4, we admire his comedy stylings. 3, we wanted to use Merv Griffin, but he threatened to sue. 2, we needed some filler. Or 1, we're brown-nosing weasels who want him to mention us on his show.
And from what I recall, that never occurred.
No, it didn't. I couldn't find it either. Too bad.
Yes.
He never had Buster Bunny on his show. Or, well, he'd have to have Babs, too.
Furball.
Yeah, it's a
Welker.
Frank Welker, yeah.
Frank Welker was Megatron.
There you go. See, I get all the credits. Oh yeah, it threatened. It said, oh, this is the end of the credits. There was one more thing. Let's see. Oh, it also said original runtime 8 hours 47 minutes. So now I also want the director's cut of this movie.
Oh no.
It doesn't exist. And for some reason it also says, hey, what about that Urkel kid? Is he funny or what? That's kind of just random.
Yes.
This film has been edited for your protection. Do not back up. Severe tire damage. Man in sound recording booth who pushes that funny red button a lot. Link. Oh yeah, that's his name. And then other stuff done by some guy named Bob, and that's the final credit. We lied, and then we get these. And Valhalla as himself. What?
Huh.
Who is that?
I don't know.
And Viking culture. What? Anyway. Superman. Okay, so then we get the Superman credits. Because he's in the movie.
Oh, we're in totally insane.
Well,
they took me down and maced me.
So Scotty, it says our only regret is Joe Piscopo. What are they trying to say there?
Well, it's strange because like Joe Piscopo was with Eddie Murphy was one of the main reasons that Saturday Night Live survived the 1980s, because after Lorne Michaels went away for one season and then he came back, and the two cast members that stayed on were Joe Piscopo and Eddie Murphy. And after that, after Eddie Murphy after Joe Piscopo sort of broke away from SNL to try and do movies, and obviously he was in the Outrageous O'Connor, everyone's favorite Star Trek The Next Generation episode, people were just like, Joe Piscopo is not funny. But like, I don't understand. I've always found Joe Piscopo to be somewhat affable. He's likable in my mind, maybe not as hilarious as he thinks he is, but I liked him in Johnny Dangerously. He's been in stuff. And he was just sort of a punchline. He was kind of like Carrot Top for the late 80s, early 90s. So I don't know why they regret Joe Piscopo. I think Joe Piscopo was, doing fine for what he did.
Well, there you go. The woman who cleaned the studio was named Queegee Bananaho. And the final one is
that racist?
I have no idea.
I don't either.
I don't know. It's just a random name. I don't think it's racist. It also said the suggested retail price without rebate is $19.95, which was how much the VHS tape really was. Oh, with a rebate, you can get it for $1.25.
I like it. I like how it says $1.25.
Yes. And so we end with Byron saying woof. Ooh, and there we are. Now it's finished.
Yakko packs away the snacks while Bill Clinton plays the sax. They're Animaniacs.
And it's okay, and it's fair to say Animaniacs are better because they are. But Tiny Toons came first. And so I think it's a progression. I think it's a development. Yeah, no, Tiny Toons.
No, you're right.
And everybody who worked on Tiny Toons, most of them anyway, went on to make Animaniacs. That's why Tiny Toons ended. It's a fact. This isn't disputable.
And those are the facts. But I think that's that's why I prefer Animaniacs, is just because there is no direct analogs for the characters for the Warner Brothers.
Yeah, but it is kind of a reference of super, super old cartoons.
Oh, sure.
All
and they did. Didn't they do one episode where they sort of go back and revisit?
Yes.
Like Bosco, I think it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they revisit that era from which the Animaniacs supposedly came from, because they give them this whole lore of where they came from and how they got trapped and everything. It's really great. I love Animaniacs, and maybe sometime we'll talk about that.
Well, Old Man Bird, I once saw a movie with Joe Piscopo. Once.
So thank you so much for the super chat, Old Man Bird. Thank you. This is great. Joe Piscopo in Johnny Dangerously, the Fargan Bastages.
Yes.
I have not
seen
you ever seen Johnny Dangerously. No.
Oh, it's so good.
This is Bargain War. Okay. It says Franco Walker. That's cute.
Yeah, I picked up I got the DVD for Johnny Dangerously, watched it recently, and apparently it's when they broadcast it on television, they don't have the original opening song, which is "This Is the Life" by Weird Al Yankovic. So but it's a good movie. It's a good movie.
Okay. I should play a video for Old Man Bird, but Entropy Manor says must put on some Tiny Toons when I get home from work. Yeah, I should watch some. I want to get my daughter to watch it and get her to stop watching the baby Looney Tunes cartoon, which is a more recent one that came out like in 2017 or something. I forget when. And it literally is what they envisioned this to be, which would be tiny baby Looney Tunes, but it's just that's a baby show. This is not a baby show.
Right, the wheel. I forgot.
Yeah, I'm spinning a wheel. Oh,
Come,
this is
Warner
perfect.
Brothers and the Warner sister Dot. Just for fun, they run around the Warner movie lot. They stick them in the tower whenever they get caught. But they break loose and then bamboos, and now you know the plot.
This one's perfect because everybody's talking about the new possible Spaceballs sequel. So, and nobody knows yet.
Have we reviewed
No.
Spaceballs yet? No.
We have not reviewed Spaceballs, but clearly I love cartoon humor, so I would love to review Spaceballs. And so that would be good. Here it is. Here's the video. Thank you, Old Man Bird. Here you go.
I've been acting for 35 years. 135 credits on IMDb. If I was in a long-running series, you might remember it. Star Trek. But all I'm known for is combing the desert and saying, we ain't found shit.
He did. He tweeted something saying that he might be back for Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money.
Oh, cool. Yeah, and that better be the actual subtitle.
It won't. How much do you want to bet?
$15.
$15. What an arbitrary. Yeah, fine. $15. Deal.
Okay.
It will
No, I
not
don't
be
want to-
called. It will not be called The Search for More Money. I wish it
Yeah.
were. And if I have to pay you $15 to be wrong, I will happily do so. But I do not
Yay.
think it would be called that.
Tim Ross have aromatic syndrome? Seemed a bit off.
Oh, yeah. Didn't he at the end? That was a thing.
Oh, really? After 35 years, he found it. Yeah.
I don't know if it was
Well, we'll
Ironic
see.
syndrome, though. But it was a degenerative Vulcan disease.
Mhm.
I'll double check because I don't.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. It wasn't aromatic. That's Picard.
Right. Bendai syndrome. That was the one that Sarek had, I think.
Mm-hmm. But Tuvok isn't that old. He's pretty old, but he wasn't as old as Sarek.
Right.
That's what inspired the line in my cartoon Suno song, with giggles as our fuel. I want to eat dangerously, Marlo Hanner, says Old Man Bird.
It doesn't really say. Tuvok suffers from a degenerative neurological disease which can only be cured by undergoing a mind meld with a family member. So it's not Bendai syndrome.
Oh, wait. Are you talking about the one where he's kind of mentally disabled and Neelix is his friend suddenly? Which degenerative? Did he have more than one degenerative brain disorder?
Yes.
I guess so. Mage's Media Musing says, I have Spaceballs as a backup for my Sunday show this week if Osaka Chandal is a no-show. JT Kirk says
good.
Tim Russ have yeah, that's all right. Yeah. I don't know who said that. I don't know what he had, but apparently he had something. But it was cured, so he's okay. And JT Kirk says, oh, you're right. That was Picard. Yep. But he definitely had some problems.
Well,
definitely
yeah.
had some brain problems.
But that was all like it was such a strange finale.
Well, and it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense that they could use the holodeck to help his Ponfar either. Because that's not real. It wouldn't have. It shouldn't have worked.
But I guess it didn't
for very long.
I liked his response to that. I was like, I can't go on the holodeck and do that stuff. I'm married. I'm a married man.
Oh, that's true too. That is nice.
Not like you're really doing anything with anybody real. It's like I would know, Mr. Neelix.
Yeah,
We should watch the last episode of Neelix in Voyager when Neelix finally
the one
goes
where
away.
we kick him off and we'd say, "Here, go to this asteroid with other Neelixes."
Get out of here, you gerbil.
Like, yeah, no, you can't come to Earth with us. Nobody wants you.
No.
Canadian Spider-Man says, "You guys rock. I've been listening while resupplying and packaging to go back out to the lake for a thunderstorm. Both of you are entertaining as hell, and your chat is the best."
That is so kind of you to say. Thanks, man.
Definitely. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that too. Oops, what happened?
What? I'm still here.
Oh, good. I was scared for a minute there. I was just trying to
gonna-
change brands. So I could say...
I'm going to swap us over so that you have the pink ears and I have the blue ears.
Oh, that's cute. I didn't notice that.
I thank you.
Gotta run out the door. Posting pics shortly. Wow. Okay. Fun.
Nice.
Fun times. Hello, Gap
Delightful and
After
delicious.
Dark. Gap After Dark is here. This is good news.
Hey, Gap.
Stock up on vodka. Tava Rich. Canadian Spider-Man. Oh, okay. So Greek letters Larson thinks Spidey needs some vodka.
Well, it's never a bad call.
J.C. Kirk was referring to Endgame, where he didn't get back to the Alpha Quadrant in time.
Yes. I haven't watched the last episode of Voyager in a long time.
Oh, and if anybody's curious, no, I haven't. I just know we get to see Tom and Balana's baby when they land. Yeah, so they do the thing. They get home. They're in San Francisco. I think Voyager should have had another episode. That there should have been more of an epilogue.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have. I don't know. How would you want that epilogue to go?
I don't know. I think I would only find out after we review Endgame.
Oh, okay.
I'll come up. I'll make. Yeah, I promise. If we review Endgame, I'll figure out what I want. Franco Walker says Baseball 2 trailer. So if you need to see the trailer, it's like it's not so much a trailer. Well, I guess it's a trailer.
No, it's not. It's just an announcement.
It's a teaser. It's a teaser. Yeah.
I have I've said it before. I just don't understand where the internet is going with this. Like why they're excited for it, why they're celebrating it. Like it just doesn't make any sense. It is counterintuitive to everything that the internet has been saying for like the last, 10 years. And then all of a sudden...
the internet wants good things every once in a while, right?
Yeah, and Spaceballs 2 is not going to be a good thing. Like even Spaceballs 1 you're looking at with rose-colored glasses into the past. It is not that great. It sparks nostalgia, but it's not that good.
Speaking of not that good, J.T. Kirk says, say what you will about the end of Voyager. They basically ended the Borg threat, which was one of the best things to ever happen to the franchise. So we could all move on.
I wish that were true.
And thankfully we did. And thankfully nobody ever talked about... No, I know.
I think that's one of the biggest problems when it comes to the modern filth. Oh, we need a bad guy. Who should we use? The Borg. Okay,
but
again. Seriously?
But as far as real Star Trek is concerned, he's right.
Yeah. Although, like a lot of people poo-poo on what's the Voyager the Enterprise episode where the Borg show up.
Oh yeah, that's right. But it's chronologically out of order, so I think it doesn't make sense for it to be.
No,
in
it
the
totally
prequel.
makes sense. I think it makes
Does
sense.
It? Okay.
Yeah, because it's from the ship from First Contact gets iced over in the Arctic.
Okay, I got to
And then
rewatch the Enterprise.
Yeah, man. No, it's really I liked it, and it was like it makes sense. It's kind of like it's the same thing as when like the Ferengi show up in Enterprise, but like at least that was while it was contrived and fan service because they wanted to show something to the fans that they were already familiar with. They did make it like so that no one had really interacted with the Ferengi. This was a very, very, very early on interaction, but it's not like in Strange New Worlds where it's like, oh yeah, Gorn space. And it's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, we know all about the Gorn and their
no one's met the Gorn yet.
Yeah, their ships look like fidget spinners.
That's stupid.
And the Gorn look like a xenomorph.
Well, they look like raptors from Jurassic World.
Well, those are the big ones, but there's smaller ones that look like, yeah.
See, and that's also like that's a thing. That's just to bring it back to Spaceballs 2. It's like everybody's all excited about Spaceballs 2, and I've been talking to people who are actually excited about the new Jurassic Park, and I'm like, why? Like everyone agreed that the last one was terrible, and now they're making a new one, and it's almost like someone got hit in the forehead with a crane hook or something, and it's like, oh, Jurassic Park! I can't wait to see the dinosaurs.
Well, I'm only for the new Jurassic Park if the dinosaurs win. Old Man Bird in the chat says now on episode 4 of Enterprise, got to switch to half speed to watch T'Pol get decontaminated while my wife was out.
Nice. That's great.
Mage's Media Musing watched Spaceballs last night. It's a good movie. But half the main cast of Spaceballs is either dead or retired.
Well, and they said like, oh, and that was something funny that I heard. It was like Rick Moranis is going to come out to play come out of retirement to play Dark Helmet again. And it was a meme, and it was like Ghostbusters fans with like a frowny face. And it's like, why didn't you come back for the Ghostbusters? But again, it's the same deal. Like Ghostbusters Afterlife or whatever. I didn't even see Frozen Empire, but like that is what Spaceballs is going to be. That's what the new Spaceballs is going to be. Is it's going to be a cash grab, jangly keys, nothing of interest. It'll be
but if it is like
with
Ghostbusters.
epic movie, which is what it was in the first place. Like I like watching Spaceballs too, but again, it's like revisiting my childhood. To say it's a good movie is like saying Weekend at Bernie's was a narrative classic.
So if you're right, and this is like the Ghostbusters continuations, then this is going to be respectful to the past, but also not really be very funny.
And I don't know. Like, I don't know. I do not know. I want the best for Spaceballs, but
me too.
Like, I think that there are a lot of things but also I'm a guy who doesn't like Short Circuit 2.
Yeah, there's something wrong with you there.
I knew I was. See, every time I get too disagreeable, I just walk into traffic and say, but also, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Greek Letters Larson says, we'll never get a good movie or show. Deal with it. The political correctness won't allow it. We have to reset the entertainment industry first. Well, yeah, we got to stop worrying about people who get offended on behalf of other people who didn't ask them to be offended for them.
Like, I'm looking forward to seeing the new Naked Gun movie, but even in the new Naked Gun movie, the trailer rips off a joke from Austin Powers and rips off the tagline from Kevin Smith's Cop Out. Like, it is just blatantly derivative. And it frustrates me, but I still want to go see it because I love Liam Neeson, I love Seth MacFarlane, and I love the Naked Gun franchise. But do I think it's going to be good? No, I don't. Remember Once Upon a Time, How A Million Ways to Die in the West. There is like a 5-minute buildup to a person getting pissed in the face by a sheep. And it's like, oh, this is what counts for comedy nowadays. So it's not even about political correctness. It's just about the lazy. And I'm a Kevin Smith fan, so saying lazy dick and fart jokes is not helping my case because I love lazy dick and fart jokes. But
Yeah, you need more than that. You need
I prefer
something
more than that. Yeah.
sarcastic, something subversive. Like this had unexpected humor. I guess maybe it's not for everybody, but I found a lot of this cartoon funny, and it would show me things I wouldn't expect, and it seems like a lot of humor today is more just straightforward, not really very creative.
Well, but like, did you ever see Unfrosted? Did you ever watch the Unfrosted? Because
No.
I asked you to show it,
Yes. Yeah, but
and
I didn't watch it myself.
you didn't watch it. And the thing that I found, it was sort of the same thing as I found with How I Spent My Vacation, is that it was just relentless. It was just joke, 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 which is good for the first 5-10 minutes. But by the time you're at minute 30, you're like, please stop, please stop, please stop. Let me breathe. Can't do any of these. I can't keep up. And I'm not saying it's because it's so brilliant and I'm intellectually incapable of keeping up with it, but it's just like, it's like a machine. It's like taking a drink from a fire hose. It's like, I need to sort of assess the situation before I can move on to the next joke.
Right,
Anyway,
it
I
doesn't
am a comedic
it sounds like
genius.
it didn't breathe at all. It didn't let you know
It
what was
didn't breathe
happening.
at all. It didn't. Yeah, exactly. And it was the same thing with this.
No,
Oh,
this
Franco
is not
says,
like that.
sorry to joke.
No, the plot is very easy to understand in this cartoon. I don't understand. No,
There are 18 plot threads.
yeah, but they're all very simple. And I explained
Well,
every
so am
single
I.
one.
This is true. Maybe I'm just complaining
But
for the sake of complaining.
it
Am
was
I
not
being too
lost.
grumpy?
No,
A
you're
little
just
too
wrong.
grumpy, I think.
But Greek letters is on your side. So you guys can be wrong together. Greek letters Larson says we
Hey.
will never get another good movie show. Oh yeah, I already read that one.
Right.
And I hope you're wrong, but I fear you're right, says Franco. I'm always right, even when I'm wrong. Greek Canadian Spider-Man says I was just about to compliment Scotty on his wise insights and solid takes, but then he went and said crap about Short Circuit too.
No, and you know what? That's something that we have to revisit, you and I, Jill, because I went and I specifically bought it, and I still haven't watched it, but I do remember not liking it at all. So,
Well, Canadian Spider-Man asked me not to read this, so I will honor his request.
okay, great. All right, I'll be back
Sorry,
in a second. I
Jill.
just have to go use the
Spelt your
phone.
name wrong. Oh no, that's okay. It was a good comment. That's why you guys have me. I need to watch Sledgehammer again at some point. I've never seen Sledgehammer, but I want to say hi to Herc130, who wants to say hi to Canadian Spider-Man. And so now I can look up what Sledgehammer is, because we're at that point where I get to be curious about stuff. Sledgehammer. Oh, it's got an exclamation point in it. 1986 to 1988. The adventures of a deranged police detective who always looks for the most violent solution to any problem. And I'll add that to my watch list, I suppose. And okay, well, I'll have to trust you on that one. It's people say, oh, 8.1, it probably is pretty good. That's the review. Overall IMDb score. So there you are. Sledgehammer is my role model, says Canadian Spider-Man. All of you guys seem to know him then. That's really cool. But that's pretty much my review today. I think it was good nostalgia. I think Tiny Toons is great. A great precursor to Animaniacs and a great follow-up from Roger Rabbit straight into fully animated features that Spielberg did. And Spielberg did more than just Tiny Toons and then Animaniacs. What other animations did he do? Because I don't know when I'm going to come back and talk about Animaniacs. So he's got a full animated universe here. But not necessarily as interested with the spin-offs. Of course, the best spin-off is from Animaniacs with Pinky and the Brain, but not the time they added Elmyra to Pinky and the Brain, which was not good. Not a good crossover for that one. Although in Animaniacs, you will see the Tiny Toons show up every once in a while in an episode as cameos. Looking to see. Freakazoid is another Spielberg cartoon. That is cool. Well, there you go then. Guess that's good enough. I had something here. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's good nostalgia for me anyway. And that's why I wanted to talk about it. And I didn't really talk too much about Buster and Babs's romantic tension throughout the film. It was there, and it actually had a high point. And the reason I mention it is not for any reason except for that there is a new Tiny Toons today. It's been made. It had its last season. I think it was made in 2022 or so, and it had its last season in March. So it's over now. So all of the Looniversity, it's called Tiny Toons Looniversity. So they made new Tiny Toons. But I'm not sure I want to watch it because they made one major change that really messes up the original Tiny Toons because like I just said, the original Tiny Toons, there's romantic hints with Buster and Babs. Well, in the new Tiny Toons that was made a couple years ago, they have retconned them to be brother and sister, which is gross and wrong. Like even if the cartoon's any good, which I hear it's not because like Greek letter said, can't make anything good now because apparently all the humor is too safe, and so it's not very good because they don't want to offend people, and so it's not fun. And this cartoon, even if you don't like it, even if you think it's not for you, it didn't worry about offending people. There's fat jokes and potentially culturally insensitive jokes in it for a kid show, and I think it's good. And it makes references to media that kids should see. And Tiny Toons and Animaniacs is where I got most of my cultural references, and I learned about things that I should see, that I should watch outside of the cartoons. Two Fingers is here in the chat. Hello, Two Fingers. Well, but I don't want to talk about incest. But I did. I brought it up because the new Animaniacs made that happen, and it's gross. Two Fingers says brothers and sisters married if they're royals. What royals precisely? That's not good. But sup Franco Walker, you work way more than I realized. But the whole running joke was that there was no relation, says Mage Media Musings. Yes, that's right. I'm Buster Bunny. I'm Babs Bunny. No relation.
No relation.
And yeah.
And the only reason they say that is so that they can canoodle.
That's right. And so, but what really F's that up is that in the new one, they make them brothers and sisters. Twins.
Oh no.
So I don't know if I'm already not interested in watching it.
Sounds like a whole Luke and Leia thing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we didn't know. No, I think they try to say it's a different universe, but then why did you make this show? This whole multiverse always gets me going. But I had fun. I at least had fun talking about Tiny Toons. I know it's not everyone's favorite, but I enjoyed it. I liked seeing all the talk show hosts. I like seeing some stuff and going on a vacation. And I hope you guys are having some fun vacations. I know Canadian Spider-Man's having fun on the lake. I haven't really planned anything because well, I need to plan something before the summer's over. I wonder where I should go. Because I could probably
Toronto.
just do something. I could just do something simple and go to Six Flags, Fiesta, Texas, which is in San Antonio.
You should go to Canada's Wonderland.
I should go to Canada. I would need a passport.
Oh well, yeah. Also,
Where
I
was
don't know.
where was that vacation that you were supposed to go on?
That was in Collingwood, Ontario.
Yeah.
Which is
Is there
more of a
stuff?
ssking destination in the winter, and that's why I didn't
Oh, really?
understand. It was like, oh, why are we going? Where are we going there? And I know they have like, they set up these like, I don't know, luge tracks, but like not on ice, but like they have these fiberglass tracks, and you go down on a little cart that looks like a luge, and you know they've got stuff going on. But it was going to be my sister's family, my folks, and me, and I was like, I'm nearly 50. And I'm going on a vacation with my family. I don't know what I'm going to do. And there's only so much time I can spend in a bar. And I know, like, even that is like, Scott, you can spend days in a bar. And it's like, yeah, but then I'd have to go and see my nieces and be like, oh, here's something for a change. I'm going to throw up on you. So.
Don't throw up on your nieces. That's not a good idea. Is that?
No, it's not a good idea, but that's what you know.
You gotta make it to the toilet.
Well, it's not my fault that they were in the way.
We allegedly moved a BC Park's metal fire ring onto the beach to have a beach campfire. I do not condone or endorse such actions. Oh, allegedly. Oh no, that's great. No, fires on the beach are fun. Having a bonfire on the beach is a great time.
Yeah, but the squares will make you put it out.
You can have it here. We've all done that.
Well, I need a passport.
It was Halloween, though, to be fair.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so we get some more information from Two Fingers. All I know about rabbits is they eat their poop because the second pass they can absorb the vitamins. Ew. I'm too old for this one. I watched the original cartoons like Bugs and Daffy. Well, Two Fingers. I love Tiny Toons because I first fell in love with Bugs and Daffy. I watched the Looney Tune cartoons, just so many of them, and I would rent VHS of them from the video store, and I'd watch them on TV anytime I could. And it was great in the 90s because they would play Looney Tune after Looney Tune. It seemed like they're just like, oh, here you go. Here's a ton of Looney Tunes. And it was a good time. We've all done that. Scotty, welcome to you. Yeah, I haven't seen you here before, Two Fingers. It's good to meet you.
Yeah. The writer's script. We have no script. Why bother to rehearse?
I think it's just... I think it's great. And I'm glad you were here with me.
I'm glad everyone was here with us.
Me too. Thank you for being here, Scotty. I wanted to ask you what you're doing on the internet today. I think I've got to head out.
I'm hanging out with I'm going to destroy everyone. No, I'm tomorrow night we're doing a shore leave, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. I got to make a thumbnail for that.
Yeah.
Much of it.
And then on Tuesday we're going to be doing another delightful day. I was going to say another glorious day, but glorious is not a word. Delightful day in the Twilight Zone on Tuesday. And then next Thursday, and that's
a combination of delightful and glorious. I kind of like it.
Glorious? Okay.
Glorious.
And next Thursday on the Phantasmagorium show, this is the thing, and I made this joke on Tuesday. I was going to be like, hey, Kat, do you want to review all of the Star Trek movies? And she was like, yeah, I guess. And so then I was reviewing our our conversation over the past weekend, and she had been very, very excited about Le Mans, the 24-hour race in France. And I was like, well, why don't we do like car racing movies because you're a big fan of car racing. And Kat was very, very excited. And so we came up with 6 movies that we were going to watch surrounding the new Brad Pitt film, F1, which is directed by the same guy who did Top Gun Maverick. So we're really looking forward to checking out that movie. But apparently, when it comes to car racing movies, not a huge audience, because this is record-breaking and not in a good way. We reviewed Ford versus Ferrari last night, and we at the end of the viewing. And thank you to anybody who showed up to watch us talk about Ford versus Ferrari. At the end of it, it was like 12 views. And I think we almost broke 30 views. So no one cares about these car racing movies, but I haven't seen any of them. So we're going to be checking out Grand Prix and Le Mans and Days of Thunder, F1, the Gumball Rally. So we're doing a whole bunch of car racing movies. And apparently we're doing it just to entertain ourselves. We are not going for views or popularity, but it's a bunch of movies that I haven't seen, and it's going to be a blast. And so that's what me and Kat are doing.
That's good. Yeah, well, Herc 130 seemed to really enjoy it. So
yeah. Good. Well, yeah, and you guys when you guys were hanging out, it's great. And also, I'm just along for the ride, literally, and it's kind of a pun as well, just because it's a car racing movie. But Kat is so passionate about it, and I was like, you know what? Instead of me imposing and saying like, let's do stuff that I want to watch, it's like, let's watch something brand spanking new for me. And so there are some classics and some modern classics, and yeah, I'm glad that 12 people enjoyed it, Franco. Thank you, and Herc.
Well, it must be more than 12 now. Franco Walker says a glorious DeLorean. DeGlorious.
Dolores.
Two Fingers says, I think I have maybe a different profile picture. Not like I have multiple counts. Oh, I'm intrigued by her being a STEM girl. Very rare. While that is true, I don't very often use that aspect of my intellect for talking about fun movies and stuff. The only thing I talked about this time was maybe D equals VT, distance equals velocity and time. So that's very basic, and I just use that for seeing how long it would take to get through the tunnel if they were going at certain speeds. But most of the time, I'm just talking about a fun movie. But I have gotten that request before to get more of that in here somehow. So I'll keep thinking about ways to put that here. Jill is a mathematician. Very clever. Aw, thank you, Franco.
True story.
And thank you, chat. Yes, thank you, Scotty. Thank you, Franco. Thanks, Herc 130, Two Fingers, and also Canadian Spider-Man. Franco Walker, you've been amazing.
Old Man Bird.
Penny? Greek letters, Larson. Old Man Bird, yes, absolutely. Old Man Bird, thank you for the super chats and the super sticker. And
JT
thank you to
Kirk.
JT Kirk for the super chat also. I think. Wait a minute. Let me get that right. Old Man Bird, JT Kirk, yes, super chat.
Mage's Media Musings, Maddie's daddy. Nice to see you.
Maddie's daddy was here. I missed him. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, Maddie's daddy was all up in this.
Nice. Mage Media Musings. Gap After Dark.
Yeah,
Eraserhead. Spidey at the Lake. I'm gonna give us some pictures soon.
Thank you to the Muppet Babies. Gavin.
Yeah, Muppet Babies. Yeah. That would be like reviewing Rugrats. She totally sounds like Lisa. Although I was thinking about Rugrats though. Well, not to review it, but just I since I hadn't watched Doctor Who when I used to watch Rugrats when I was a kid, sometimes I watch it now and I think, man, there were some Doctor Who references in Rugrats that I never noticed before. Because Tommy used a screwdriver to escape all the time. And there was a toy episode where you find toy Daleks. I'm sure there's more.
Doctor Who, Doctor Who. Hey, Doctor Who, Doctor Who.
Sentai Ranger Donnie was here.
Matt G? Was Matt G here?
Matt G was here.
Nice.
It's true.
That's what that feeling of joy was.
Yeah, that's where it came from. It was a mysterious source. But he was there. He's there. And he's good with the member emojis. Zombie Box Reviews. I'm not sure if I said hi to you or not. Sorry if I missed you. I might have been right into the review at that point.
What up, Zombie Box? Anyway.
Yeah, Maddie's dad. Oh, yeah, I do remember talking to Maddie's daddy. That's at the beginning. Brogu. Brogu is also here for a brief time, as well as Bone. Bone's very sweet. Flashy.
What do you got going on, Jill? What's happening with you on the internet?
What's happening? Oh, that's it. I got to the top of the chat. That's everybody. Yay. And Franco Walker says, don't forget to hit refresh and leave a comment after the stream. It helps the channel grow. Well, like you said, we're going to have a shore loop tomorrow, and I'll come up with some fun topics for us to talk about. And of course, the channel, the panel, and the chat are free to completely derail it as it is required. That is a shore leave tradition that we have no idea what we're going to talk about. We can go down any rabbit hole you guys like. And no pun intended. Then did someone say planetary disgusting? What? What's that? I'm interested. No, I don't know.
Intergalactic planetary.
No, but then of course Tuesday's Twilight Zone, like Scotty already mentioned.
What are the episodes this week, Dina?
Oh, I could find that out. I don't know. We just did some really good ones.
Yes. Had some really good guests, too. Not me.
Most unusual camera.
I was terrible.
Night of the Meek. Wonderful. No, you were great. Next week is Dust and Back There.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh, indeed. Huh. With some music by Jared Goldsmith and directed by Douglas Hayes and David Oric McDearman. So we'll see how those go.
Also, don't forget to because you're having an epic adventure in space on Mondays as well.
Oh yeah, that's right. With Jedi Master 2022, we'll be reviewing Mr. Nobody. And I am kind of a wish that I would have advised him not to invite you so early, because this one is the one I think that is good. I really love Mr. Nobody. It has real Star Trek feel to it.
Should I watch it? Should I join in?
Ooh. Well, what if you hate it?
Well, that is the way it goes. But people do like my Dr. Smith impression. So
that's true. Well, it's up to him.
I guess
we'll see. I might have to get you on as a guest sometime, Jill. Yeah. Well, let me know what you want to talk about. I am so busy, but I could be able to find probably one day, someday. There's Dust back there. And Herc130 says, Gap. As for next Friday, I'm not sure yet, but we're overdue for Star Trek. And we've been throwing around some ideas for that, so that might happen next Friday.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I don't think of something out. Yeah. It's always up in the air with Fridays. I had to get a cartoon in, and I'm happy now. Thanks for letting me have a cartoon.
We're going to do a full review of The Cosby Show. No, don't worry. Just have this Coca-Cola, and you won't remember a thing.
Yeah, I think I'll probably pass on that idea.
Yeah, never accept a beverage from Bill Cosby. That is the moral of the story.
Right. I also still need to update my membership credits, because I've got some new members, and I got to put them in there. a couple of new members that I haven't put in yet.
Sure.
You should do Thundercats, says Greek Letters Larson. Have you watched the TV show Sequest? Dave, it has
DSV, yeah.
3 seasons and has Roy Scheider from Jaws.
Roy Scheider.
Okay.
I get
Sequest.
sorry, I unnaturally.
Is that developmentally associated with Quantum Leap?
Sequence DSV? No, I don't think so.
Well, which one was it then?
Well, it might be. I could be incorrect, but I didn't really. Yeah.
I feel like it was like one writer went from Quantum Leap and then started working on Sequest, but I don't know. I don't remember who it was. It's somewhere in my notes.
Was it Donald P. Belisario?
No, probably not.
Are you
him.
sure? Well, let me check.
Well, maybe it was.
It might have been.
Is leaping. Yeah, here it is. Leaping in without a net. Okay, so the West. Okay, so Tommy Thompson wrote his first script for Quantum Leap. I don't know how many episodes he wrote for Quantum Leap, but he wrote 14 episodes for Quantum Leap, and then he left to go with Spielberg to help showrun Sequest. So yes, there it is. It was in.
Well,
my
good for
notes.
him. Tra la 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 la.
Sequest was from Steven Spielberg. Good
So
grief,
was
you're
this,
all
Jill?
young. Yes, so was this. So many things. So many good things.
That was
You
actually my
should-
that was actually my favorite part about watching this this direct to video movie is the production executives. Do you know who one of the production executives was?
Yes.
Who was it, Jill?
Yeah, well,
recall?
sure. Kathleen Kennedy's name was on it.
Yeah. So I'm glad that you
Good,
are a
'cause she was
Kathleen
best friends
Kennedy
with Spielberg.
fan.
I'm not. I don't have
Well, she
to
made
like
this.
her to.
She must have
no,
done something.
I don't know what she did on it though. What did she do? I that's my problem with her is I never know what she did.
Well, that's what
Exactly.
producers are always like. What do the producers do? We don't know. They pay
It's
for
always
stuff,
very
or they
mysterious.
manage budgets and shit.
Okay. Well, they can't just get accountants for that. I don't know.
She is an accountant.
Oh, really? The coffee fetcher. Yes, for Stephen. Yes, that's what I know her as. I'm sure she
Wow.
did that. Because there are tons of stories of that. You think if she did more than that, we would hear the other stories of all the other cool things she did.
The coffee fetcher is a production assistant. Kathleen Kennedy has her name on some of the greatest works of art in cinema of the last 40 years. I think she
Okay.
did more than just get coffee.
Greek Letters Larson says that you should do a documentary about Kathleen Kennedy. I'm not going to have anything to do with that. Gap After Dark
Yeah,
says, I believe it. I have 599 subs right now.
Nice.
Oh, I can't believe it. That's great. Well, yeah, I know. I'm so sorry for you that you lost your first channel and you had to rebuild. But I'm glad that you're making up for it. It was like a technical error. It wasn't like he was banned or anything. But I don't remember exactly what happened. Franco Walker says she wasn't trusted to make the coffee. Just fetch.
Yeah, I don't know where you get the facts, Franco.
Well, but this isn't the anyway. She did terrible things.
She did nothing wrong.
Yeah, she did lots of little terrible things to
What are
Star
you
Wars.
talking
We know
about?
that
Why
for
are
a
you
fact, at least.
Oh, she wasn't the creative in charge.
Yeah, but she had influence. The Force is female.
Oh, well.
Anyway, and all that stuff and things that she did that was not good.
Yeah, well, Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, Tiny
Yeah,
Toon
I
Adventures. Like she's done it. She has
It's
her
her name.
name on a bunch
Yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah, but there are lots of producers, and I'm not sure what any of them do.
Well, they all get coffee then. If we're going to say that an executive producer is now a coffee fetcher, then every time you see an executive producer on any movie
Until
or
I know.
television show, they all just get that's their
why.
only job. Kevin Feige is a coffee fetcher, gentlemen.
So that's why I like to look at the production of something so I can learn what they do, what the producers do, and it's more fun that way to actually find out what happens. And let's see.
I do enjoy.
Oh, she chose the writer, says Franco. So I believe that.
Well, I
Thanks, Joe.
I guess that is, you just summarized every executive producer in Hollywood. If you're going to undermine Kathy's contributions to things, then I guess everybody who's been an executive producer in the history of film is just a coffee fetching wench.
No, we're just sure she made coffee. That's possible she's done more. I just need to hear the story.
You're not sure,
and it's possible and it's possible that other producers have done other things. I just need to hear the production stories. They need to tell their stories if they want us to know what they did. And whatever. I enjoyed this story. I like cartoons and I like the history behind them, and that's why I wanted to do this today. And we'll see how it goes in terms of the interest that I picked up from this. But anyway, I had so much fun, even because I was afraid of watching this because I saw it as a kid, and obviously I probably loved it more then, but I think the nostalgia still worked for it.
Istanbul was Constantinople. Now it's Istanbul, not Constantinople. Been a long time gone. Constantinople. Why did Constantinople get the works? That's nobody's business but the Turks.
Yes, and that is in a Tiny Toons episode. I got to rewatch the cartoon as well too with my kid. I think it'd be fun. And I wanted to watch it also because it's a summertime movie.
See, I like watching wintertime movies during the summertime. Actually, today is the solstice. Today is the longest day of the year.
This is the summer solstice. Hey, happy solstice, everybody. I'm glad we made it this far to actually do that.
Me too.
And this was good.
The Galactic Ballet.
I think it had good writing and humor, and I mean, I know it had a ton of plots, but they all wrapped up except for the one where there's a plot hole, a literal plot hole, and there we are. We slide through it, and the story's over. I think, and it wasn't too long either. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's just 80 minutes long.
True.
And it's finished.
Sure, it's not the solstice. Franco says it's not the solstice until tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow's the solstice. Okay, thank you for the correction. Yeah. No, well, this says Friday, June 20th, 2025 at 9:42 p.m. Central Time. So it might be tomorrow for Franco when it becomes the solstice. And that makes sense. Because in the UK, it won't be the solstice until January 21st, Saturday at 3:42 a.m. So it is the solstice for us.
June, not January.
June. I meant to say June.
Yeah.
Sorry. June 21st.
I didn't know.
Which is tomorrow.
I didn't know they had sun in the UK.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, it's not just always raining over there.
That's what I thought. Because of in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and Morgan Freeman says, "Is there no sun in this cursed country?" And so I always thought it was all just still being absolutely bludgeoned by the Industrial Revolution. Nothing but coal ash in the air and rain falling from the sky.
Mm-hmm. I must get my hippie gear on and go to Stonehenge, says Gavin.
Oh, nice.
And Franco says it's a blast. So there you are. Everybody enjoy your solstice. I don't know if anybody celebrates the longest day of the year. But it's cool. You can learn about it you can watch out. Maybe I'll watch the Cosmos episode that talks about the summer solstice and how they used to use it to help them figure out crops and stuff and things in ancient times, because he always likes to talk about the history of astronomy and how it evolved, and it's so cool to see the human element with the science element. That's something I'd want to review sometime, is all the cosmoses, but I don't know how to do that yet. That would be a way to bring in the STEM side that I like into the show. But I think we'd probably start off with Contact first, just for fun. I'll take my share of free lovin'. Oh, is that what happens at Stonehenge?
Oh yeah, you didn't hear?
No, I didn't.
Oh yeah, it's not. Pants are not optional. You have to remove them.
Wow. Well, on that note, I hope you guys enjoy your Friday and
At Stonehenge
and your summer. See, no matter what your summer's like, at least it's not as bad as the summer that some of these students had. I'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
And that's all, folks.
And the ways our differences combine to create meaning and beauty.
It has always been easier to destroy than to create.
May we together become greater than the sum of both of us.
Well, now you have something new to think about. Carry on.
I'll get you next time, Gadget. Next time.